Okay. This is always the scary part where I don't know if the stream is working. Alright, let me kind of view this chat here. Hey everybody, it's Qcknd. Welcome back to the Qcknd channel. I guess I've been gone what feels like a little while. I mean, I say gone just because I've only had like 3 videos in the last 2 weeks. So I thought I would come on and talk to you guys. I feel like this is the best, like, most authentic way to, like, communicate, I hope. I hope you guys feel the same way, like, that this is a little more intimate. I hope so. Oh, speak up. I think I have my volume all the way up. I could bring the computer closer. If the volume's really hard, I have my windows open. That might have caused some interference, but so yeah. Ethan is currently under the computer, actually. Let's see. He's like washing himself literally under the computer. I like set it up on this little table here. But yeah. Okay. People are confirming the volume. Everything is good. So yeah, welcome in. I almost did 5 Fact Friday. I mean, I've just been like, I guess like to put it easily, I've just been dealing with a lot of health stuff. And I mean, there's always the conflict between like showing your vulnerability and like keeping like a strong sense of self. And I don't know. I always think of like, oh, your life is a stage and all of that stuff. And I think that like when you are in the social eye, a lot of that is true. And I don't know, it's really scary to be vulnerable. So I don't know, it's really hard sometimes to come out in front of the camera when I'm not doing well and when things are crazy. And even today, I referred to myself as a sad sack of shit. And I was being genuine, so I don't know. Things have been kind of hard, and it's hard to like get up in front of the camera and talk about it. Is there a little bit of a lag? I hope not. I think the color just changed. Anyway, can you do a self-care video? I mean, I don't even have self-care figured out. I think self-care is important, though. I've heard arguments against it. Even my own argument against it is like, you can't just take a bath and feel better. But I don't know. A lot of my self-care is making sure, I mean, as of lately, a lot of my self-care has been making sure I'm not in the places that I am sad. And that's hard because a lot of the times, like, I come home and I'm sad. So getting myself out of my apartment has been hard. And I've been finding excuses to stay out a lot, which doesn't help with my filming schedule either. So that's been hard. And yeah, so far my self-care routine has been like figuring out my triggers and staying far as fuck away from them. And like, you can't say trigger online anymore, so I've been trying to find some other word, and it honestly is like, I don't want to go where I'm sad. I don't want to run into anything that makes me sad. Let's go back to the time on Tumblr where triggered was a sacred word. But, I mean, I joke about it sometimes too, so what can you do? So I thought I would talk about a couple things that I've been getting a ton of questions on and kind of just like sidestepping for the longest time. And I put myself out publicly and think, you know, that there aren't going to be questions. And then I'm like, what am I thinking? Let me open up my blinds. Is that worse? So, Ethan. So, I guess, I'll jump into it. I quit my job, and that was hard. Like, I didn't want to do it, and I feel bad coming on here and saying that stuff because I know that the entire world has access to my videos. And when I come out and say I quit my job, I do feel like I fail my bosses in a way. So this is not a thing of disrespect. I know that will not translate. Why would I do a warning? But it's true. Yeah, I left my job, and I mean, there can be a ton of reasons why, and maybe this is more of a beauty school thing or like an industry thing, but they'll always tell you, even in school, they told me, find, like, salon feel is so important, and salon fit is so important, and, for the longest time, I thought that I found salon fit, and I thought I was working where I was supposed to work, but that it was me that was the problem. And I'll always tell myself, like, I'm sensitive, like, I have a hard time, like, a hard learning style, like, I'm a visual person, I have a photographic memory that has never failed me, good and evil. I've never forgotten a single image I've ever seen. So, with someone who has, like, a strong memory and a very, like, visual learning style, like, an audible kind of learning environment is a little hard for me. Like, someone just explaining something to me, it's hard. Like, if somebody, even if someone, I was watching the, like, Home for Peculiar Children, and we were watching the first scene, and the granddad is dying, and he's like, my dying wish is blah, 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 and the kid is like, okay. I remember thinking, like, is he gonna write that down? I could never fulfill someone's dying wish. Because I can't, if you just tell me something, I need to associate it with something. Like, I'll honestly remember something 100% better if someone's like, remember my friend Stacy with the yellow shirt on? Then I'm like, yes, I know everything about her. So the teaching style at my salon, that was really hard because a lot of it was words, and I'm a visual learner, and I do not learn through consequence. I can't learn through, like, being reprimanded or being yelled at or told, like, why didn't you know this? Like, and I feel like a lot of times I am reprimanded for being a millennial, which is something a little odd to me too. Like, millennials are so sensitive. And I'm just like, okay, now what? Like, okay, are they sensitive? Well, now what? Because I'm here, and I am sensitive. And when you yell at me, I forget everything. So working in this, like, boot camp kind of style environment, the entire time, I thought it was me. I thought it was my fault. I thought, like, I did have to toughen up. And even, you're on the phone with your grandmom who loves you to pieces, and you're telling her, and she's like, maybe you do have to toughen up. And you're like, maybe I do have to toughen up. And maybe you go home defeated, and then you wake up the next day, and you're like, I'm gonna fucking get him next time. After a year and a half of that, I came out exhausted. And I thought, there are so many things I pushed to the wayside because I thought it was me. And, if I failed you guys on YouTube, it was because, I thought I was wrong. And if I failed in my relationship, it's because I was putting so much time into the salon thinking that I was wrong and not realizing that I was just a fish out of water. I was in the wrong environment. And back to beauty school, they tell you, like, salon feel. You have to go where you belong. And, I got caught in a cycle where my job was a very social place, and I would go there and talk to clients, and they would talk to me, and there was a lot of, like, emotional labor that was exchanged. And, in my time of need, when things weren't going well for me at home, I could come to work and see Angela and just know that, like, it just felt so good and was so gratifying that I stayed working at a salon for so long because it fulfilled a social aspect of my life that I thought I didn't have. And I tell people, you know, like, I love working at the salon. I love interacting with women, and I love providing a service to women who just want to feel and look in the mirror and feel fine. Walking away from that, you know, was hard because that's the social aspect I didn't want to lose. And so many people tell me, you know, like, I didn't have girlfriends until beauty school, and like, I was one of them. You know, the previous life that I lived before, it was very like some girls, a lot of guys, and then like me. So being in this like female dominated like snow globe was so good while I was in there, despite the things on the outside that didn't work for me. I feel like quitting the salon would disappoint all of the people who watch me and want to do just like me, and they want to get a job in beauty. And, you know, I thought for a second, I was like, if I walk away from my apprenticeship, are there people out there I'm disappointing who are walking in the same footprints as me? So, I don't know. I had to do it though. And as my stress deteriorated, as my health deteriorated, like sick from stress, sick from going to a salon that I didn't fit in, you know, everything just made sense. And I was like, take the toxicity out of my life, and it's the salon. And it sucks because, I don't know, a lot of you guys have been asking me, like, what happened with your relationship? And I can push those comments to the side and I can ignore them forever because 2 people existed in my relationship, not just one. And when I have the force of the internet behind me, you know, it's not my story to tell because it's his story too. And I was so afraid to be like, yeah, he broke up with me, you know? Because who does he have? I have so many people who support me. You know, it wasn't just my story to tell. So, I don't know. Losing my job, I quit, but leaving a toxic environment and leaving a failing relationship all within like 2 fucking days of each other. Oh my god. So if you haven't seen me on the internet, it's because I'm literally dying. And it's because my life completely changed in the course of like 2 weeks. And I've been through breakups before, but I entered this relationship thinking I never had to go through another breakup again. So, if you see me soft, if you see me struggling, you know, if you see me crying on the internet one more time, it's because I don't know the answers and I'm figuring things out. So, I don't know. I always feel like everybody knows. And back to that life's a stage, sometimes I feel like you don't even know who's watching. But all along, I kind of just felt like, you can't type on the keyboard. I don't know. I always think you guys know what's happening anyway. And then I'll still get a message like, when are you moving into your new house? Love the tile you picked for the bathroom. And I'm like, fuck. I hope the next chick likes it too. I don't want to be petty. It's hard. At 27, I didn't think I would be going through a breakup again. And it's weird because I didn't see it coming. You think that no matter what, people will work through it. And I hear people working through it. I thought I was working through it. I thought that everything I've ever done was a step in the right direction. And I don't know. Hold on a second. Ethan. All right. Well, yeah, I don't know. So all of that's really hard. And I'm like, what do I do? Do I like delete those old videos? Do I forget the times? Do I get rid of the pictures? I don't know. What do you do? Do you stay friends? I feel like when you get dumped, you're kind of just like, whatever you want. Don't notice me sad. Do I block you? Do I do my laundry somewhere else? I don't know. The choice I made was to stay civil. We built a life together for the last 5 years. And, you know, I want to stay, like, I don't even know what I want. So I'm like, do we stay friends? When I notice that you watch my Instagram story, I physically crumble. Like, who knows? Here's what I think, though. And it's like, I mean, I'm thinking things all the time. My brain is like this fucking just toxic cloud right now of, like, negative thoughts, and then I push myself out right back into one. We went through so much together. He was there when I was a broke piece of shit, when I was just living off my art, when I was living in a house with 5 roommates. He was there for that. And then he was there when I got the coffee shop job and had to dye my hair brown, take out my piercings. And then he was there for beauty school, and he would pick me up and drop me off. And then he was there for my old salon. And now I quit the salon. He was there for YouTube all along. Do I just date someone as a YouTuber? That's kind of crazy. Do I date one of my subscribers? Like, that's crazy. So, you know, I've been wearing tank tops to the coffee shop. No, I'm kidding. I don't want to date anybody. What do you do? So I've been hanging out with my friends a lot, trying to do that, hanging out with people in my neighborhood, and I don't know. Where do you go from there? Who knows? Oh, the sun. Ethan, can you close the blinds? So, I don't know. There's not a ton of questions I'm willing to answer about it. Let me... Hello. Because like I said, it's not just my relationship. So I kind of like don't want to talk about it anymore, and I don't want anyone to bother him at all, which is why it's kind of just like one day you saw him and then all of a sudden you didn't. Like, I don't know. So nobody bother him, and let's all keep this really chill if any of us know him in real life, because really all I want is the best for him. And when he took me on, like I'm a fucking project, when he took me on, you know, I just had a Tumblr. And he watched all of this grow, and you can't ask somebody to stay in your life when you're growing and becoming someone else. And although I'm terrified to meet someone as me now, because I don't even understand me now. So, I don't know. I would hate to meet somebody and be like, hi, I'm Qcknd. You already knew that. No, but like, who knows? It's kind of crazy. Honestly, before I met him, I think I did like primarily like 100% of my dating like through Tumblr and Instagram, and now I can't do that. I'm gonna have to honestly meet like a nice barista and just put in work there with the tip jar. Yeah, I don't know. What's dating a YouTuber like? So here's something I haven't told anyone. And why not tell, how many people are in here? Why not tell 500 people at once? So I have a new job, and I'm just gonna come out and say it. I wasn't looking for a job. You know, I was going to quit my salon job and focus on YouTube. And when I quit my job, they asked me like, "Where are you going from here?" And I was like, "Remember my YouTube channel?" But you know, that was what I was gonna do. I was kind of gonna float around a little bit, walk away from beauty. I was pretty scared to do that, but I was pretty scared to stay in an environment where I was constantly feeling like something bad is going to happen. Every day I was like, something bad is going to happen. You walk through the door and you're like, something bad is going to happen. So I was like, gotta fucking quit. All right, something bad's going to happen. So, you know, a little bit of word got out that I quit. You know, didn't take a genius to see me drinking at the park to figure out I probably didn't have a job. So my mentor reached out to me. And if you guys have been here for a minute, you guys know my mentor. Her name is Josie. She's perfect. I mean, she's always been there with crucial advice. And behind the scenes, you know, when I worked at my salon and I would come to work and be like, I made this video and it's so fucking stupid and everyone hates Stranger Things and everyone thinks I'm so fucking dumb, Josie would be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Did you create something? Because that's something to stand behind. And, you know, there's so many times, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. There's so many times I would come to work and be like, what the fuck? Like, I did this thing on the internet and people are messaging me to tell me how cringe I am. Josie would, you know, Josie used to be in a band, and she was like, you know how many people hated my fucking band? And I toured the planet. So what's better? And I was like, oh my god, I love Josie. So Josie left my salon, and it sucked. I looked up to her so much, and she pulled me out of so many freak attacks. And she wore my Stranger Things shirt, the Halloween costume I made for YouTube. It was on BuzzFeed. She wore that for Halloween. Like, Josie has been my biggest cheerleader and my mother. So when she left my salon, I was like, why the fuck am I here? So when Josie found out I quit 2 nights ago, she was like, come to my salon. And I was like, Joes, you can't see me right now. I'm a sad sack of shit. She said, come to my salon. Fuck off. So Josie offered me a position at her salon. And, you know, a couple months ago, I really wanted to work there. But there was no room for me, and it was okay. I said, you know, I know the salon exists, and I'm happy it does. So when she invited me to the salon, you know, I thought I would sit down and she'd be like, hey, you're being real weird on the internet. I'd be like, Joes, I'm sorry. Who knows? World's a stage. So Josie offered me a job there. And I told her, a lot of the problems I had with my other salon is that they didn't coincide with my ethics. It embarrassed me to bring people there because it was a place where I stuck out. And it was a place where I felt like I didn't belong. But I constantly think I don't belong anywhere, so it didn't feel that foreign to me. I belong at Josie's salon, and, you know, my other salon's gonna think, you know, she had this in her back pocket the whole time. And I didn't. I was one day unemployed when I found out I was going to be working at Barnett Fair. So, catch me working at Barnett Fair. Josie really values my YouTube career. And I know that that's true because she's been there through the last year of, like, all the growing pains, you know? I've had a successful Tumblr for a long time, but you can't argue that going onto YouTube and making these videos every week, developing a schedule where you have to be self-reliant, answering people, getting hate mail, becoming really scared. It's a whole range of emotions that I know I put my previous partner through, and Josie was there to support me through that. And even if I wasn't talking about it, you know, going on YouTube and seeing Josie's old, like, rock and roll videos, I was like, she gets it. And she gets me and supports me. And someone to inspire your creativity is so something to be protected. Creative energy, you know, not everyone you're going to meet is creative. So asking someone to inspire you in that way is difficult, you know. So Josie said, clean yourself the fuck up, Sadie. Get in this Barnett Fair. So I'll be working there. It's much less times a week. I'll be working 1.5 days a week with classes as an apprentice. So I will be an apprentice there. But I told her, I was honest, I was like, I need to go in a real apprenticeship program because the last fucking Crayola cutthroat program I was in was not structured. And I can't tell you where I fall on the ability spectrum because 1 week I was the best. 1 week I was the worst. 1 week I was a crybaby. The next week I was, I don't know, cool. So I don't mind starting from the beginning because, I don't know. I was telling my friend Amanda the other day, like, we have so many lives to live. And sometimes I feel like I'm too old to not know what I'm doing. And I'm too old to, like, not have a home or, like, not own a car or not have a career. And I've lived in this weird transitional period for so long. But we live so many lives, and I feel like the opportunity to continue and grow and see something brand new every day and gain an experience and I don't know, meet a new boy, I guess. And I'm not sure, but this life has the potential to be so long. And I told Amanda, I was like, you know, our old boss, he said, you know, I've worked here 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, whatever the fuck he would say. And I was like, 50 years you had the same job? You know, I guess you get really fucking good at it. But in 5 years I've had 5 jobs, you know? And each one gave me a little bit, another key, another puzzle piece to who the fuck I am. All the shit I didn't know I was. And I'm not saying, like, quit your job, but I don't want to turn my back on any experiences. I mean, I'm scared as shit. I don't sleep. I don't fucking sleep anymore. Oh my god. But I don't know. The fact that it's out there is, like, keeping me stable. But it's hard because I'm not making YouTube videos because I'm crazy. But I did make a zine, and I do want to talk to you guys about it. Are you saving for a 401k or retirement? No. I don't even have health insurance. So I made a zine the other day, and I wish this wasn't empty. And you guys know I've been talking about making a zine forever. And I guess being single, being a big old dumpy, kind of put my ass in gear. It sucks. It's like, I ran into him, and I was like, fuck. Let's go home. And then I go home, and then I go on my phone, and I'm like, what is he doing? So I was like, I have to stay off my phone. I have to stay away from, I have to stay away from the things that trigger me. And a lot of that is that like social media digging, like who's this new girl? So one day, like last Thursday, it was raining so hard, and I told you guys one of the triggers is being alone in my apartment, like sad, because it makes this place sad. And this can't be a sad place because I have to live here and love it here. So when the sad is coming, I gotta go. So I've been writing a lot, and I do write a lot. And I've been writing a lot these last couple of weeks because I don't know what the fuck's going on. I don't know what should be kept a secret. I don't know who I should talk to. I don't know who to tell people things about, and I don't want anybody's mind to change. And if we get back together, I don't want to tell too many people we broke up. My grandmom doesn't know yet. Like, so writing, that's not even the door. So I've been writing a lot, and go ahead, go in there. That's a closet that is only this deep. So it was raining. I was trapped in here. The sad was coming. So I went to the fucking like Kinko's, whatever the fuck, and just started to print shit out. And I made 6 copies. A lot of people were like, can I get one of those? And I have one. Oh, do you guys hear my knee crack? Ooh. So I have one right here. I had these up for trades because as a person in, like, I guess Philadelphia alt community, I feel like I've consumed a lot of other people's zines, which are often, like, up for trade. So I wanted to make, like, a junior kind of trial zine to see if I was any good at it, see if I could do the formatting, and to trade with other people. So a lot of people were like, hey, I wanted to get a hold of that damn zine. I don't care what you're going through. And I was like, I hear you. But I only made 6, and they were for trade. And one is for Mike King, because Mike has given me every single fucking comic he's ever made, and I've never given him shit back. And I was like, one day, Michael, I'll make a zine. One day I'll get cold hard dumped and live in my old damn yellow apartment. So this is last week, and you can kind of guess what the name means. I kind of like that. Nothing too clever over here. I just like to think so. So it's a book of poems, and they all fit a theme. And I kept this minimal, small production. Oh, a lot of people ask what zine. So a zine, if only I could run into the other room. So a zine is usually a like self-published, self-created, publicated little booklet or thing that can have poems or recipes or illustrations, comics. You could just write "fuck you" on every single page, and it would be, a lot of people will like screen print the cover, and you'll see them like this. They usually have like the 2 staples. They're very like DIY, inspired by like punk culture. And they have an aspect of being self-made, whether you wrote the entire thing or you published the thing or whatever the thing is. It's kind of just like you made it, no matter what the fuck's inside. I've had zines that are honestly like recipes and feminism, or comics, pictures of graffiti. I have a ton of graffiti zines or like street art zines, which the majority of my collection of zines are graffiti zines, because I feel like you couldn't like mass produce your own graffiti zine. You would get caught. But you can make some at Kinko's and give them to your friends for a couple bucks, or trade them. A lot of zines are done through trade. So I made one. So a lot of the stuff in here, um, I don't know. A lot of the stuff in here is like kind of private. I'm not sure. Like, you can guess how, like, what some of the feelings are about, and like, or you can guess what mood I was in when I wrote a lot of these things, and I'm not sure. I'm kind of thinking this is the middle page. It's like glued. I don't know. Like, I know this is personal, but somebody who wanted to trade for one of the zines, I saw that she followed my ex-partner, and I was kind of just like, I'm not sure. I want to control who has these zines. And I know that's a little unfair. Like, I don't know if you remember Michael from Vlogmas. He traded me his zine last year called Halloween. So I owed him one. So I traded him one of these zines. Although I think I bought your zine, Michael. You're on my shit list. So I traded him the zine, and I was like, hey, you are the very first person I traded this to. And he was like, I'm going to sell it on the internet. And I was like, you could. People want them. There's a demand, asshole. So I don't know. I don't know what I'll do. I was kind of thinking, because I'm already like 3 or 4 pages into, this just says book 1, so I'm already a couple pages into book 2. And I was kind of thinking, like, maybe I could put out 3 and, like, combine them and reprint them. Like, 1 out of 6 of this is always going to be 1 out of 6. And the back says, Qcknd in Philadelphia and all rights reserved. I did take a little picture of like half of one of the poems the other day, and someone messaged me and they're like, what book is that from? And I was like, me. I wrote something. So that's last week. You know, yeah, I think formatting my zine has been impossible. A lot of people ask me, a lot of people told me they would help me, which is cool. Mike King, like, shadowed one of my episodes for YouTube when he was going to make one of his YouTube channels, and we traded. I was like, you can shadow me as I create this video if you teach me how to make a fucking zine. Are you listening, Mike? So I'm sure if I just buy that dude some coffee, I can get better at formatting these, because they are not double-sided, and I would prefer if they were, so I could get more stuff in here, because I wanted to put photos in here as well. I don't know. First date advice. Don't be me, and then you will have a great date. So that's my zine. There was questions about it. If you live in Philadelphia, I will trade this zine with you. If you live local and you have a zine you always wanted to trade, or like an old Cure concert t-shirt, I will trade zines, no problem. I'll come to you to get out of my sad house. I will deliver these zines to you. I had this vision that I would just have a little, like, side, little shoulder bag with zines in it all the time, and I would just, like, bring them to people in the city, and that would be my way to, like, contribute, like, creative expression, but still control the consumption of it. Almost like a paper boy who only delivers to emos. I don't know. I thought that would be cool, but, I don't know. I feel bad because I have support all over the world, and they're like, yeah, cool story about Philadelphia. Sounds like a great place. Wish I lived there. So, yeah, I don't know. I've been wearing this shirt for like a month. So this is my reusable cup. ask my friend Amanda. I kept this in my purse all day. And every time we went to get a beverage, this is what I got it in. This cup triggered me the other day. My P.O. box. So I have a P.O. box, and you can send things to it. The, P.O. box information is on my Twitter. If you click the media little column on my Twitter and scroll back a long time, you'll find the info. I'll probably repost it, though. I don't know. A zine is like an independent work that you self-publish. Self-published zine. Like, Amazon didn't print this for me. I printed it and stapled it myself and made a couple of them. And I love to read it. I love reading my own zine. Great stuff. You sad sack of shit. Anyway. I'm trying to read the comments. Can you print a zine like at a library? Yeah, so I just used Microsoft Word, and I pay for like Microsoft Office or something. So when I logged on to the computer at just like a print shop, I just typed in my username and stuff for Microsoft Word, and my shit came up, and I just hit print. I messed it up a couple times, so I have some like fucking booty versions of last week. Lost work. You can like see them like right over there, like they didn't work. So I just printed it, at the print shop, and they actually let me use their stapler. So I did it like almost entirely all there. You could do that at your library, whatever the rules are. I have not tried InDesign for formatting, but that has been like the most popular thing people have offered. People have suggested to me. And then Mike King also told me I could use Photoshop, which is a little crazy to me. So I need to like figure that out. Because I liked using Microsoft Word, but I really fucked up this middle page and had to glue this like on there, which is like very zine-esque, like no doubt. That's like very, sorry, whoever gets, I think this is 5 out of 6. Yeah, it is. Sorry about that. You should collaborate with another local artist who can illustrate your zine. Would be super rad. I actually have this like extreme archive of like photos I've taken over the years that like I couldn't post on Instagram just because I didn't want them like associated with me, but I did take them. Like photos of graffiti and just like maybe places I shouldn't be that I didn't want associated with like Qcknd image. So I actually have like a ton of photos I've always wanted to put into a like independent publication like this that is like just kind of like that. Let me just So I should work with someone to illustrate it, yes. I think I want to see where it goes, and if like Qcknd becomes a thing, I would love to have it expand and grow. This was really just like a little trial run sort of thing, so I don't want to get too ahead of like myself and like start like reaching out to other artists in order to like fortify my zine because I'm not even good at it yet. So I don't know. But I've definitely thought about that for sure. And I think once I'm better at it and more self-sufficient and I learn as much as I can from other people who do it better, sorry, I keep getting off track. I think one day, for sure, if it becomes a force, if it becomes like a true thing. I think I should close my blinds again. But yeah, I don't intend to like keep the zine top secret, but I do have to like digest the feelings and stuff that I definitely put into it. It's kind of just like I put a bunch of secrets out there, but they can't go on the internet because I don't know. So I got a tattoo the other night, and a lot of you guys asked me about it, and there's not like too many words to exchange about the tattoo I got. Sometimes I feel like there's a disconnection between me and my body, and I want to love it so badly. And I think when you go through a breakup, you suddenly realize that, you know, your partner may, like, on paper, you know, loved your body, and your partner, like, was into it, and the little things about you they liked. And if you have quirks or different things like that, like, they loved you. And it makes you love yourself. When you break up, you're like reintroduced to your own body again. And I think for me, that was really, really scary. And I mean, Angela can tell you, I came to work and I was like, what? Someone else like has to see me naked? Another person? I don't want to show anybody my body. That's terrifying. And that fear like stayed with me. I was like, my naked self? Oh no. Like, don't look at that shit. And like that thought process was really toxic to me, and I feel like separated me from my body for a little while. And I don't know, seeing my body as like a disgusting place, I had to shake it. And I feel like you have to see yourself outwards, and you have to see like what makes you you again. What is you? Before, I was a girlfriend to somebody, and I was the image to them and who they saw naked. Now I'm by myself, and I have to think about what makes my body something I enjoy living in versus something I enjoyed someone else liking. So that tattoo just helped me reconnect with myself, and I was like, how do I view myself? What could make me feel more comfortable inside of me, and what would make me love myself and see myself as somebody who can be naked, and see myself as like someone who can be sexy, and see myself as sexy to myself. And you know, I don't love saying sexy, and if I had to say the word horny, I would just blah, blah, blah. No. But yeah, you definitely have to like revisit all that shit. I was like, matching underwear. God, it's been a while. Damn. So that is why I got that tattoo. And I hate to hit you guys with the heavy shit for real, but reconnecting with loving my body versus someone else loving my body, it's been really weird. And you think, ow, a breakup, my feelings are going to be hurt for a long time. But so much shit comes with it too, man. Like, I forgot how to act like as like a I'll tell you guys this. I feel like dudes creep. And I'm not saying male dudes creep. I'm saying sometimes there's people are creeps, and they're like, yeah, ugh, please don't make me ever say horny again. Dudes creep. But there was a confidence I used to have knowing I had this big dumb boyfriend at home. So when dudes would creep me out, I always knew, like, yuck, but nothing bad is going to happen. Now, as a free agent, when someone is being really creepy, I'm just like, oh my god, no big dumb boyfriend at home, just me. I have to diffuse this situation. I don't have an excuse. And I have to be rational because I have to exist in a public eye. I can't just, if someone touches my knee, I can't just be like, ah! I have to be like, oh, don't touch me. I barely know who I am. And if you touch me, ewy. Before it was like, my fucking boyfriend's gonna hear about this, and he's taller than you. Oh my god. So that's been a really, really weird thing to reintroduce myself into because I haven't had to do it for a long time. Like, dudes creeping always existed. But before, I had like a little bodyguard or some shit. And even if he wasn't with me, there's always someone who's like, no, dude, don't talk to her. She has a boyfriend. And that whole behind the scenes I wasn't even present in has protected me from creeps for so long. And now it's not there. It's like, did you hear word? Amanda's single. She's got all these tattoos, bro. Touch them. Fucking touch them. No big dumb boyfriends at home. Ugh. Creepy. I don't like it. I have to go home? Because someone might know I'm single? But how sad does it sound when you're like, I'm single, but I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Because people, like, that's the right answer, but it sounds like, oh, is she alright? She's not ready. Some shit happened. Some shit really happened. Oh, what a big sad sack of shit. Some shit happened to her. Oh, is she alright? Oh, but leave her ass at home. She's not gonna be any fun. Like, oh my god. So that's me right now. I carry pepper spray everywhere. Yeah, dude. You can't pepper spray someone, though, for just, like, asking one question about one of your tattoos. You know it's creepy. But, like, it's not. And conversationally, if you go home and you're like, do you know that one fucking guy? He, like, wouldn't stop asking me about my leg, so I knew he was looking at it. People will be like, relax. But to your friends, they know it's creepy. They're like, yeah, woo. But if I've just pepper sprayed that dude, oh, I heard you and John broke up. With your intention. Damn. Actually, my friend got me pepper spray the other night. It felt like a very single gift. But I'll tell you, I was followed the other night, and I was like, yeah, this would fucking happen. All these other years I wasn't followed. Now I get followed for the first time, and I had to go to my friend's house, the handyman, the love of my life, and wait. And I had to text him like a dummy, and I was like, hey, you know women, have you ever seen one? Well, I got followed in that very traditional way, like in commercials. Can you sit out here with me? If he watches me go into my house, it'll be fucked. So it's cool. We ate water ice. And that's a good fucking friend. A good friend who's like, hey, I know that shitty things happen to women and other people out there. Let's have some water ice and not talk about it. And then the next day he bought me the pepper spray. So that's the story of the pepper spray. And a bag of googly eyes. So, I don't know. That's all scary. And so I'm trying, like, if I'm feeling sad, I'm trying to get out of the apartment so there's no sad stuff here. And I went and I rode my bike to the plateau. It was beautiful. Beautiful place, the most beautiful place ever. In Philadelphia, an escape. You know the song Summertime? Written about the plateau. I'm dead serious. So I went there, laid in the grass by myself with my bike, and I was just like, my bike takes me places, and that's really cool. Some real simple shit, some yoga type thinking. I was like, don't even pick up your phone. We are here. I lost my glasses. We're here. Just me and the bike, my backpack, and the entire city, and Will Smith. The next day I went to work, because I had like put my 2 weeks in. I went to work, and I went to shampoo this lady, and she was like, oh, give me a second, dear. I was running. You know how that feels when you're running? Give me a second. And I was like, oh my god, yeah. Last night I rode my bike to the plateau all by myself, and I talked to my bike like yoga. And she was like, you cannot ride your bike alone. Ever. You know that? You risked your entire life. You know that? You risked your life. I can't tell you how many incidents happen with young ladies like you being out at night, riding their bike, talking to their bike like a crazy person. So, I was like, oh shit, I forgot. As a woman, I can't go anywhere unsupervised without fear. Thanks for reminding me. Oh, it hurts because you were running? Did you bring your fucking chaperone? Like, I don't know. But of course I didn't say that. I was like, thank you, miss. You're right. A woman should never leave the house unprepared. I wore my neon vest, and I accepted my fate, and I got home before 9 p.m. But it's always in the forefront of your mind. And if I ever make zine number 2, in the zine I talked about how I'm sitting at the plateau, and I look down, and it's a big whole plateau. Like, you're like sitting in a stadium. And down in the valley, I saw a person, a type of person who would dig through the trash. So I saw somebody digging through the trash. And that behavior, obviously, a little exclamation point above the head, that behavior is noticeable and gives you a warning. So, in my mind, I thought, I'm by myself in this plateau, which tomorrow someone will warn me I shouldn't have done. And I'm witnessing somebody who may live on the outcusps of the law digging through this trash can. And if they notice me, they notice that I am a small, fragile, young kindergarten boy with my bike and my iPhone. Even for... They could put harm on me. And in my zine, I talk about how now that I'm alone, I go to these places unsupervised, and I go to these places without that chaperone, and there's no man with me. And if this man digging through the trash decides to look up the plateau and be like, who's that young man? I'm going to take his phone. I am #defenseless. Yes, self-defense classes. Yes, pepper spray. Yes, a bat with nails driven through it. All of the above. But that feeling doesn't leave you. And I didn't have to feel that way when I was with my partner. Now, it's present. And it's one of these new feelings I've taken on as a fucking spinster. Like, no man to chaperone me or be attached to me. Like, think of all the people I'm meeting for the first time who may have heard of me and know I have had a boyfriend. Now they're like, fixing their bra, I don't know, and hey. So, I don't know. All of these feelings are brand new and kind of hard to deal with, but the creative energy is coming out, I guess. I don't know. A lot of the sadness from the breakup, the sadness from the realization that I am a free agent woman who is in constant danger, that's new. And then all of the time that isn't occupied anymore. Like, that's hard. It feels like a lot of empty time. And I know I'm relying, like, on my friends so much. And then that makes me feel guilty, because it all does. So the time is, I don't know. So much time. 1 second. But, hey, getting through it. I was talking to my friend the other night, and I was like, I'm just never going to talk about it, and then eventually people will stop asking. And he was like, you should talk about it so people who are going through it go through it with you and see it with you. And I don't know. At first I was like, no, because I'm going through it and putting it on the stage, like, one, demonizes him no matter what, which I don't want. I want him to get better and grow and be the best him. And that's honest. I don't no ill will at all. You watch someone struggle for a long time and you want them to get better. And if removing you helps them get better, that's what it is. No ill will. But then I was like, the vulnerability. And I know it's like the first thing I opened up this live stream with was like allowing that vulnerability, and how much vulnerability do you put out to the public? Being vulnerable is so scary because you don't want people to know that you hurt. You'll tell your friends you hurt. You tell your friends that you're fucked and that you're not sleeping and that you're crying in public. But there's this front that we put up, especially after a breakup, where we're like, I'm done, I'm healed, there's boys in my DMs, I don't need this life. Is it a front though? For me it is. Jesus. But, you know, some of us are completely comfortable being sad on the internet. Some of us, it's half of our identity. Like, I follow plenty of people with the word sad in their name. So sometimes sad is your entire identity. Sometimes sad is a little bit of something you let out sometimes when a little bit of grieving happens. And, you know, I kind of took my friend's advice. Here we are now. It's out in the open, and this is the only video I'm ever going to talk about it in. But now you guys know. And, you know, for me it's not easy. And I'm not picking up the pieces. At least, not yet, you know. Not easily. Not like, oh, it only broke in 2 pieces, womp womp. Like I said, this happened, and then it led to this, and then this feeling was brand new, and I can't be sad here. It's complex, and there's a lot to it, and, you know, I said it before, at 27, I didn't think I would be starting over, but with so many lives ahead of me, I guess I'm ready. And that's kind of crazy. You know, the nights I'm sad, they're still coming, you know, and the mornings I wake up sick and hungover. There's so much life behind it, and I don't want to sound like I'm in a fucking fraternity, like, live, drink that fucking beer bong and live. Not at all. Not at all. But I spent the last couple years being a nice, quiet little librarian, going to shampoo, and coming home, filming a little YouTube. Oh, it's time for bed. Let's eat pasta in bed. You know, I haven't spent a lot of time being a free agent of myself. And the other night, I pulled an all-nighter, and I couldn't wait to, like, tell Angela. I was like, I lived a little bit. Do you fucking know that? And hey, that was at least that, like, was something I could take with me. So I don't know. Distractions are nice. This mug is nice. I need to do my laundry, but who knows? I don't know. I'll answer some questions in the chat for sure. You know, I'm trying to get through this, and I think the zines, I'm putting a ton of faith in the zines. You know, a couple days ago, right before I went to the plateau, I was feeling scum, just scum of the fucking earth. I wanted to rip my guts out. Ask Angela. I came to work and I was like, why do I keep feeling like I need to rip my guts out? Like, why do I feel like I'm visioning a hand, like, just ripping all that shit out? Just rip it the fuck out? Can I just stay off my phone? So the zines are a great way to, like, harbor energy. and it's energy I don't know what to do with, and it's energy that's toxic. Put it into the zine. I'm just not ready for everybody to know. Like, I'm telling, like, 600 of you guys, but keep it to yourself. Let me see. Are you selling those stickers that you posted on Instagram a few weeks ago? I might. So I wanted to have something that I could give to people. Last year I was running into a ton of my subscribers like on the street. I realized that I like haven't left my block in a long time. I kind of just like really stay in my neighborhood as of lately. I'm not really going downtown unless it's like for a mission. So I wanted to have stickers with me to give to people, like to give people something, and I didn't have anything like that. And I was planning the Qcknd meetup back when I had a bodyguard. Now that's a little kink in the works, but persevere. So I had those stickers made not to monetize off of industry speak. And I don't know. The person who made the illustration, I was like, I love this, and I would love to have stickers made of this to give to people for free. So, like, money wasn't exchanged in that, so I wouldn't want to, like, trivialize their work and then make money off of it myself, especially because I liked that design, and you guys liked that design, so I thought it would just be something we shared. So if you run into me in real life, if I go to tattoo convention next year, maybe, if I'm in a better place, who knows? And that's kind of what those stickers were made for. So that's why I was like, these aren't like really available. I don't know. My tattoo is healing well. It's a weird place. And I mean, it's a weird place because it's like right in my thigh area, and then my leg like folds and stuff. So I've just been wearing skirts, which I like wear anyway, and that's been cool. There's just like, I guess when I'm sitting, almost like how I'm sitting right now, the tattoo presses against my body in the natural fold. So there's like a tender imprint on like my underwear, which is fine. I don't mind, you know, who cares? At the tattoo shop, I felt so bad. I had my tattoo done by Johnny Guess. You might know him. He's done like my Halloween tattoos. He's great. We talked about like old SEPTA stuff, which I'm a geek for. So love Johnny. Always a good conversation. And he took me as a walk-in because I only had the idea for a few hours. And he redrew it like 5 times. So that was, I mean, I felt bad about that, but right. No, it's everywhere. Ethan, is this a great time to surf the table? Damn it! It's everywhere. So that was my tattoo. And I got that done the other day for shop minimum. And that was cool. And I like the way it looks. I don't know. It's personal, I guess. Personal to me and whoever sees it ever again. Someone asked if I'm going to show it, and I just, like, don't think I have to. It is, like, really up my leg. So I don't know. if seeing it is not too personal. So, let me see. What is your favorite Smith song? Let's see. Let's pull some up on the old phone. I actually like all of them. And I think the album I'm listening to is called like The Sounds of the Smiths, and I think it's every song. So sometimes I really like to listen. Sorry, I've got like The Cure up on here already. Sad life. I like to listen to songs and read the lyrics at the same time. I know that's like major like nerd alert. I'm nerdy. You don't get it. But I really like doing that with the Smiths as of lately. Especially like I find myself on public transit a lot and I'm trying to like stay out of social platforms that remind me of my relationship that failed. So reading all the lyrics to every Smith song keeps me pretty engaged. So if you've never listened to the Smiths, this is Apple Music right now, and I can't make this better, right? So this is on Apple Music, and this is Complete. If you ever see it, if you search Smiths, it says Complete. Great place to start. Let's see. Oh, Hand in Glove is really good. What difference does it make? They're all really good. I think that right now I'm just listening to The Cure. It's all I'm listening to. And I'm listening to Me Without You, A.B. Life. And that's it. If you want to listen to The Cure, I think if you search the name of this live stream, it's a great album to start. It feels so good in my head and in my house, and I don't want to listen to anything else. And I'm happy to be listening to music again to keep me out of my head. My favorite Cure song right now is Untitled and Disintegration. It just is. I can't stop listening to it. Lullaby is a really good one. All of these are off of the same album. I just listened to the album from beginning to end, and then that's it. But would you make a public Spotify playlist? So I don't have Spotify. I think you pay for Spotify like $10 a month or something. I pay for Apple Music, so I don't want to pay for both. I was thinking of just like making a video where I talk about music I like, but even 5 seconds ago when I was talking about like Cure songs, I feel like there's people who are like, I don't know what she's talking about, and I'm not absorbing it, and I can't wait for her to stop talking about it. So that's why I haven't made one yet. But yeah, I don't know. If you can make a Spotify playlist though without a premium account, just let me know. Spotify does not have Joanna Newsom on it, and Joanna Newsom is like one of my favorite artists. So it would be incomplete, honestly, without her. But I would make it anyway. I don't know. If I could put Morrissey on there and Me Without You and The Cure, then I would do that. People are saying I can. That would be cool. Oh. There's definitely songs I really, really like. I wouldn't want people to think it's cheesy though, like, oh, you're almost 30 and the Dead Kennedys are on your playlist. I'm trying to read the chat. I'm sorry. I don't know what it looks like. Yeah, I know Joanna won't put her music on streaming services, and that's totally fine with me. I don't know. Like, I think 2 weeks ago, I was contacted, I'll say by BuzzFeed, whatever the fuck. So I was contacted by them to be, they wanted to use one of my videos on their channel. And I don't know a ton of stuff about it because I kind of shut it down the second it started. And I got some flack. I got some, like, one very particular evil message on my anonymous box on Tumblr. Anonymous ask. Ugh. Who the fuck does... Anyway. After that, put that in the trash. You know, I think a lot of people were disappointed that without even knowing what I said no to, I said no to BuzzFeed. So BuzzFeed contacted me, and they wanted some footage from my channel. They wanted the raw footage unedited without my watermark. And even in the first initial email, before I said yes or anything, introduced myself, hello, I'm a sad sack of shit, they sent me the, like, procedure to send them my footage, because I'm sure they're used to people saying yes. They're like, didn't you see our name? Say yes. For me, like, I love you guys. You guys came, you're here, you're great, you're authentic, you're nice to each other. You come here and you stay here because you want to be here. I am blessed with the best fucking audience ever. None of you guys are dickheads. The one person who sent me the ask on Tumblr, they hate themselves more than me. I don't know what to tell you. You don't just come up with that shit off the top of your head if you're not thinking it all day. You guys are great. BuzzFeed promised me gimmicks and exposure, and I told them I don't need exposure. I have the best audience I could have asked for. You're kind, you communicate with each other, you follow each other. You know, if you've been here since my last meetup, everybody left with a new friend. It's amazing. I always defend you guys to anybody. You're the best fucking people on earth. Whatever I did with BuzzFeed, it's fucking consumer junk food. People consume BuzzFeed at a rapid rate. And I always, when I see BuzzFeed consumption, it's at a bus stop. It's people waiting at the salon. It's not a, like, okay, pour some coffee, going on BuzzFeed. It's junk food. It's, you know, it's not healthy. You know, it's just like flashing lights. And when I was trying to spend less time on my phone, I had a great conversation with Mike King, and that's what he told me. He said, you know, casinos with the flashing lights, and they tell you the things you like to hear, it's releasing dopamine. And you're feeling really good. It's like eating Red Hot Cheetos. You're like, I shouldn't be eating these cancer sticks, but that's how I attribute BuzzFeed. And I'm not saying that shouldn't exist on the internet, but, you know, I don't go on TMZ, is that it? I don't read tabloids, and I definitely try to stray away from, like, gossipy consumer junk food. But I gave it a chance. I read the email. I thought about it. But, you know, a couple years ago, I decided to not work with Inked magazine. And, you know, to this day, people are like, what if you would have done it? Would you be famous? Would you have a car? I don't know, but I didn't do it. BuzzFeed wanted some of my content without the watermark and for free. And I said, thank you for your consideration, but I decline. I felt weird about it. I had to go to my best friend's house and diffuse. We watched 13. It was amazing. She made me a pizza. I couldn't eat it. I went home and I thought I made a mistake. And even Mike King was like, you should have asked me first. And I was like, Mike King, I'm obsessed. But I said no. So then they contacted one of my tattoo artists and asked them to ask me if I would reconsider. And that's when I was like, what the fuck? I said no in the nicest way possible with uncertainty. You know, I was skeptical. I felt guilty for saying no. But I was like, I don't know what you're going to do with my content. I don't know how you're going to edit it. For some reason, you don't want my watermark to be in it. Because they didn't have to ask me. Under copyright, they can take like 30 seconds of any one of my videos. They could play it and then be like, this girl's bullshit, and end the video. They can do that. I can't do anything about that. I can't file a claim against that. Do it. But they asked me so they could present it as authentic work without the watermark. And hey, I said no. I don't need anything else. I don't need any new subscribers. I have the best subscribers. And I couldn't even guarantee that I didn't even know what they were using that content for, you know? But it was an exchange for exposure. That's the word. And people say, don't work for exposure. Mike King said, sometimes work for exposure. And I agree with him. I would, you know. I got all day. Coffee, that's my biggest expense. It's not my rent. But I don't know. But to contact my tattoo artist to ask me to change my mind is psycho. I'm going to open my blinds. So, at first I said no. And then I said fuck no. Because that's crazy. So, this is why I left BuzzFeed. No, I just said no. So if you're someone who messaged me like, hey, Amanda, little bit of an opportunity for you, you kind of just let that one go. I know you're a sad sack of shit, but don't turn down all these opportunities. I turned it down. And I guess I'm glad I did, because I saw the video that they wanted to create, and then they made that, like, do you guys watch H3H3? It's funny, because then H3H3, like, read my mind. I was like, Ela, I really don't know what to do right now. Can you please help me, mama? And she made that video where she was like, isn't BuzzFeed whack? And I was like, oh, I knew it! I knew they were whack. Who knows? But, I mean, BuzzFeed has made videos for me, honestly, where I'm like, what the fuck? So, I can't tell you how they would have edited my video and made it, but I can tell you that I would have been more responsive if they would have taken me on as an interview, if I could have created organic content for them and not them take a video I already made and then them just, like, make it their own a little bit and make a quadruple amount of money off of it than I ever would or will. Who knows? But I just think that Vice and BuzzFeed and, like, stations and, like, content hubs like this would do and go so much further if they actually employed or, like, commissioned independent creators to make content for their channel instead of just, like, scrolling, finding an idea, give me that intern, and we're gonna act out this idea, ready, go. I don't know. Like, honestly, if they hit up Eva Stelansky and they were like, we love your look, we love what you do, obsessed, can you make us a little video? We'll give you this much money and this much notoriety, and it'll be good, wholesome content that gives our audience a nice, well-rounded, well-balanced diet. I would be, honestly, way more susceptible to that, but I don't even know if it's successful, because why wouldn't someone have done it by now? I'm not the first person to have a good idea, so it must not work. But Ethan is asleep. Oh wait, that's me. He's just under the computer. Is he real? I want to eat food right out of his mouth. Collab with Ela. Honestly, I'm going to buy her hat. I don't know why everybody's quitting BuzzFeed. I mean, I went to school for communications, and honestly, BuzzFeed probably would have been, like, a dream job for me, no doubt. And when I got the email, like, my stomach sunk because I was like, did I make it, mama? And then they were like, oh, we saw you had a good idea. Can we have it? Can we have it? No? Can we have it? Tell us the story about the shopping cart again. What is that? What shopping cart? Tattoo schools. So I actually reached out to somebody to interview about tattoo school. I think his name is Eric Perfect. He's kind of like the huge, big organizer guy for all the protests on tattoo school happening in Philadelphia. He told me to come to his shop, but it's in the suburbs of Philly, and I can't really get there. So I have to go. He agreed to the interview. He even said, like, he's not camera shy and stuff. It was like a really cool exchange. And then I was like proud of myself for emailing somebody and setting something up. I was like, you did a great job. So I have an interview lined up with him. I just have to confirm because I have to figure out how to get there. I used to have a ride, and now I don't. I also emailed, and let me know if you guys know this YouTuber, Frank. Is that his name? Apparently he lives around here, and we set up a collab for Tattoo Talk Tuesday, and then he told me exactly where he lives, and it's like right where I can't get to. So, damn. Can't get there. Alright, here's the sunset. Yeah, the idea of tattoo school is that people can, just artists, like, honestly, even me, really, can sign up and just pay tuition and go to a school. Where can we go? Alright guys, you're gonna watch the sunset on my face. Let me close my blinds. I didn't close them enough. See, they're right there. Damn it. So the concept of tattoo school, now my eyes are messed up from looking directly at the sun. The idea of tattoo school is that you pay for your apprenticeship instead of like going around, Ethan's touching my foot, instead of like going around to shops with portfolios and being like, will you hire me as your shampoo girl at a tattoo shop? And a lot of people are saying that you are paying to go to this school, and you know, they teach you tattooing, they teach you the machine, and I guess theory, color theory. I don't know if they teach you to become an artist or if there's like prereq or something like that. But basically, you pay to go to a tattoo school. That's it. Almost like beauty school, but at the end, you leave and you're prepared to be a tattoo artist. But if you've ever met anyone who went to like bartending school, some of these stuffs are like scam. So a lot of the people, especially in Philadelphia, it's been a huge thing. People are trying to protest and basically reject these tattoo schools that are coming to Philadelphia. If you watch Needles and Pins, they talk about a tattoo school in Las Vegas that has like students and a curriculum and all this stuff. And they want to bring one to Philly. So Philly is like a major place for tattooing. Like a lot of traditional tattoos live here too, and tattoo artists who have been tattooing for years and years. And then there's also a lot of things in the fine print of your tattoo school if you decide to attend that could really damage your career in the future. Like when I was talking to Eric Perfect? No, I was talking to Akira. And I was like, Akira, what's the big fucking deal? And Akira said, this is the big deal. He said that in the tattoo school in Philadelphia, some of the fine print says you can't work in Philadelphia County if you get your tattoo apprenticeship at the tattoo school. So basically, if you live in Philadelphia, attend the Philadelphia Tattoo School, then you have to tattoo in, like, Bucks County. I mean, sure, why not? But a lot of these things seem misleading, and it is just another reason to protest the tattoo school. How do I feel about it? I mean, I worked my ass off at beauty school, so I definitely know what it's like to, like, go to the school. But I did go to a for-profit school that did not guarantee me to become a hairstylist. And even my old salon that I worked at had an apprenticeship program where you could walk off the street and be like, I have dumb fingers and I've never held a scissor. Can I apprentice here? And they would say yes. So, the door is... So I'm sure there's, like, old school hairstylists who are like, she went to beauty school, blah, blah, blah. But apples and oranges, honestly. I think apprenticeship should be hard. And I made a video all about, like, disappearing ink, like the tattoos that only last 1 year. And a lot of the feedback was like, this could really help apprentices. But as somebody who has been in an apprenticeship for the better part of, like, the last 3 years, they should not be fucking easy in any aspect. And you shouldn't lean on these tattoos as an apprentice. You should only make good tattoos. And you shouldn't be like, do you want a bad tattoo? You should not give tattoos until you're good at it. And the tattoo school gives somebody a crutch. And I don't know. Apprenticeships, I mean, you shouldn't cry and throw up every day, but apprenticeships shouldn't be granted, so I don't know. I feel really conflicted. But I also think that tattooing is, like, a sacred and traditional and something that has to be passed down to you as a trade. So I think every tattoo artist has the right to feel shitty about it, especially if they had a hard apprenticeship. When I talked to the ladies at Black Rabbit Tattoo, all of them talked about a very hard apprenticeship that they went through, and it's why they came together to create Black Rabbit. So those experiences created something else. I don't know. Opening the blinds again. Oh. Really quick sunset in Philadelphia we have here. Up and down. I'm just reading some of the chat here. Oh yeah, Ethan loves a good open door. Loves them. An apprenticeship can be seen as a rite of passage. I definitely agree. You know, okay. As someone who had a really difficult time in their previous apprenticeship and left the salon in search of a better one that accommodates me, it's hard for me to compare them because I was a softie and I tried my best. So, yeah, like, apprenticeships definitely have to be earned. So, I don't know. But, like beauty school, would you go to tattoo school and then have to still have a traditional apprenticeship afterwards? Huge possibility. Someone could accept you as an apprentice after realizing that you've held a tattoo equipment before, but I don't know. They're very expensive. Comparable to the beauty school fee, honestly. So, are you paid a full wage as an apprentice? In England, you usually get half of minimum wage. Definitely a fraction of what hairstylists make, like pennies compared. So, I don't know, maybe? It depends on the apprenticeship. At my new salon, I'll make minimum wage, and that's an upgrade. Um, what? A lot of artists don't want apprentices with experience with machines because they have to work harder to teach them the right way. That's really true. I'm trying to be a tattoo artist. I'm studying marketing in school and then going to an apprenticeship, possibly while still in school. Couldn't people just do that? I can tell you that my apprenticeship consumed so much of me, and they always asked me for more, and it was a true testament to like my ability when they would say, you should do this full time, you shouldn't be doing YouTube videos, you should only be doing this. So I feel like if you were in an apprenticeship program and you try to have another job, have a successful social life, maybe have a partner, and be a tattoo apprentice, something would have to give. So I'm not sure. I'm at community college and going to try and get a tattoo apprenticeship. Yeah, study art. I mean, just study art. Not everyone is able to go to school and work at the same time. Yeah. When I first attended community college, no, the third time I attended community college, I did not have a job, and it was amazing. I have always worked and gone to school at the same time, and it was just my life and my identity, and I was a hard worker. But when I went to school, for one semester, I didn't have a job while I went to school, and it was a completely 100% different experience. And it's so upsetting to me that literally everyone I know cannot do that and not experience that. Going to school and not having a job is a completely different education, and I know that people can't do it. I can't do it. I was privileged enough to do it for literally one semester because I lived without everything else completely, nothing else, rice and shelter, no luxuries, just education, and it was amazing. But I can't even recommend it to people because it's so obtainable, unobtainable. You talk too much. That's weird. How'd you get in here? Do you usually go to your appointment alone or with friends? If it's tattoo appointment, almost 100% alone all the time. I think one time my previous partner went to one appointment with me, and it was cool because we got to like hang out right away afterwards. But I like to talk to my tattoo artists, and even if I'm in a weird mood where I don't want to talk, I like to listen to them and get like an authentic experience. Um, I feel like I try to capture a lot of social experiences, like even personal ones. I try to capture them and like understand them, and it's one of the reasons I don't always listen to headphones on the subway, just because I'm always like trying to like overhear somebody or notice something. And going to like even my appointment on Thursday, going to that by myself was really cool. You know, I had to wait an hour to be seen, and I went over to Penn's Landing and had an apple juice and just like watched the water, and came back by myself. Talked to the shop hand by myself, and just had that little personal experience. And that's traditionally how I get tattooed. I have some like like matching tattoos with some friends, and like that was always cool too. But I don't know. I generally do get tattooed by myself. I don't know if that's like a sad thing. But for me, it feels right. I don't know. Like, I feel like if I had to call up one of my friends and be like, hi, I just had this idea for this, like, quasi self-destructive, but, like, inspired by self-growth tattoo. Yeah, I'm gonna get it in my inner thigh. Do you have, like, time later to, like, watch me do it? Tomorrow? Oh, I can wait until tomorrow. Oh, like, next Wednesday? Yeah, I can wait. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Even getting my back tattoo, I would like wake up early, like, why do I do this to myself? Get on the mega bus, like, why do I do this to myself? Get there, see Mark Cross, and just, ooh, feels so much better. Yeah, I'm laying on the tattoo thing and getting a back tattoo. That sucks. But I like to be there for the process and like take whatever the tattoo artist gives me, some words, a joke, nothing, petting his dog. I don't know. So I usually go by myself. And I like am socially inept and hate myself and like am not super conversational and I still do all right. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people in the comments usually do get tattooed alone. I've been with friends to get their tattoos, but I also like get that. Like if they're nervous. Like I went with Dana to get her first tattoo and when I got my ribs tattooed, I did bring my roommate and she talked to the tattoo artist because I couldn't be there, you know? And just listening to them talk felt really good. So I think that there's reason to come to other people's tattoo appointments, you know? I always think of you when tipping baristas. I'm like, a Qcknd would approve of this. Yeah. Tips are cool. Great job. People always ask me how much to tip tattoo artists, and I'm like, 20, 25, 30%? I don't know. And a muffin? Do you want any tattoos removed? Yeah, I do. I have a pretty big one that I have been thinking about getting removed. I paid for a session, and some guy I used to know was supposed to drive me to it. So that's in the works. Have to figure that out. So I have a session I've already paid for. I just have to receive it, and I have to work that out. So who knows? But I think tattoo removal is the answer if you have a problem. I don't think it's like, oh, I can't Uber there. It's not close. If you watched my tattoo removal vlog, it's not close. Maybe I can turn my light on. Ugh. Oh my god, that looks 1,000% better. Fuck the sunset. We're doing it. Is it your hip with the skull? I should get that removed. Woo! It's funny. I was talking to my ex about that tattoo, and he was like, why get it removed? It covers the space. And I was like, is that the goal? But then I think about how he said that, and it's like not one of my top priorities because I wear high-rise underwear, and it's always covered. Never see it. It's not the shark. I wouldn't get the shark removed. I think it has to be fixed, but the tattoo artist who finished it for me, he lives in Virginia. He's actually coming back to Philly. So I was thinking, like, should I get this thing touched up? Or should I just fuck right off? Because getting your ribs tattooed sucks. And I don't even know if it's worth it. I don't know. No, I wouldn't get the shark removed. I really like it. It's one of my favorite tattoos. It's like my only vegan tattoo, I think. How long did your Medusa piercing take to heal? I mean, you're looking right at it. It's probably been out for like 5 years. So, healed when I had it. I guess 6 months, and then I started stretching it. So it like never healed. What should I wear to get my rib tattooed? What did I wear? I think I wore, when I was healing it, I wore no bra. And I think while I was getting it, I wore a bra with a clasp at the back and then unclasped it and just held one cup on while I was getting it. And then, like, the other, kind of just like that. So that's what I wore. There's probably a better technique out there. And I also have, like, no boobies, so that's, like, something I can get away with. So if someone has a better suggestion, for sure. Is it weird to wear slipper shoes to a tattoo appointment? No. Not at all. Are you thinking about microblading your eyebrows since you had your freckles? So, microblading, although I, like, support it and I love the people who've had it done, it is a bit expensive and I don't think I need it. Like, I think there are women out there who, like, and men and anybody with eyebrows out there who, you know, they have, like, alopecia, or their eyebrows grow in inconsistently, or they have, like, a scar. I think there are people out there who are better candidates than me. My eyebrows, I just, like, kind of run over with a pencil and they're done. So it's not too much of a process for me to do them myself. And because I believe that the microblading isn't really in my budget, and I don't really need it, it would be, like, what's the word? Like, not something I really need done. So, I don't know. Some girl that, like, I don't know at all messaged me, and she was a microblader, and she asked a trade. Like, I would promote her, and she would do my eyebrows. I don't know, like, how interested I am in doing that. I, like, already told her no specifically. If anything, I would work with Tara, who did my freckles. She's really nice and really cool. And, like, I would put myself out there to help her career in any way. I'm interviewing her July 1st for an episode of Tattoo Talk Tuesday. I would let her do my eyebrows. I've been watching her grow, and, like, she's been an esthetician for, like, 10 years, so I trust her. You have to put a ton of trust in your microblader. So, I don't know. The answer is no. Like, I've thought about it, but I don't need it. But if someone wanted to give it to me for free, even then, I still don't need it. So I don't know. I don't know. I like doing my eyebrows every day. It doesn't matter to me. I don't like when they're not done. Like, I don't love them, but it is no bother to me to do them every day. What's your favorite vegan restaurant in Philly? I'm visiting soon and would love to know. So, I actually was at Veg. So Veg is, like, a higher end restaurant in Philadelphia. Like, very, like, flavors are very considered. And I was on a little date at Veg, and Oliver Peck was there. And I was like, do you see Oliver Peck right now? And he was like, I don't know what you're talking about with all your shit. Veg was cool. We needed a reservation, and it did run a little expensive, so I would say it's like a fancy kind of ordeal. But Veg up here owns another restaurant, which is all vegan, called V Street, which is a little more affordable, and they focus a lot more on, like, drinks being vegan, and then, like, appetizers that complement drinks. You might need a reservation for that, but you can also sit at the bar, but I'm not that chick. And then below V Street is called Hip City Veg, which is like vegan Wendy's. It's fucking out of control. It's crazy. People think that it's healthy because it's vegan, but it's not. They have milkshakes. Hip City Veg is off the hook, but you'll leave with a tummy ache if you're like me. But that was down the street from my salon, so I was eating there all the time until I like sampled the whole menu and was like, my belly hurts. Below Hip City Veg, all owned by the same people, is called Qcknd. And Qcknd is all cheesesteaks. And it's out of control. It's so good. I would say, find out what kind of person you are on that whole spectrum. Are you up here at Veg, dining with Oliver Peck? Or are you down here with me eating a bomb fucking cheesesteak? So good. They have cheese fries. So, Veg, V Street, Hip City Veg, Qcknd. I recommend all of those. My favorite place to eat in the whole city, though, is called Hardina. It's this Indonesian hole-in-the-wall in South Philly that I would die for. I love Indonesian food. So you got your little hole-in-the-wall, little grime there, or you got the lineup. They're all good. I've eaten at all of them. I can afford to eat at Hardina. The cheese fries are really good. They use like a cashew cheese, and I don't even think they call it cheese, which I'm into. I like when vegans are like, this isn't fake food, this is just mushed up vegetables with seasoning. And you're like, oh yeah. Do you like vegan sushi? Yes. I am an avocado ass bitch, and I love when it's in things. Where do you grocery shop in Philly? I go to Temple, and we only have Fresh Grocer, and it's pretty shit. I'm here to agree with you. Fresh Grocer is shit. But if there's an Aldi near you, I'm actually doing an Aldi grocery haul coming up once I run out of almond milk. Honestly, I really like shopping at Aldi. It's really affordable. The last time I was there, I spent a $20 bill, and I got food for at least 3 weeks. I used to shop at Wegmans, but I lost that in the divorce. But I do shop at Whole Foods sometimes, but, like, let's be honest, like, not really as often as, like, not every time. Like, once every 6 months, I pick up some of the stuff I need at Whole Foods, or, like, indulge in a vegan ravioli. But if you have a car, I would go to Wegmans. I ship Wegmans 1,000%. And if not, I honestly shop at Aldi when I lived in West Philly. That's the only place I shop for any fucking thing. I think there's an Acme near Temple campus. Acme, like, dabbles in, like, an alternative diet. Like, you could get by at Acme. But you'll pay a convenience fee or, like, a hipster tax or whatever you call it around your house. And I don't recommend, like, anything else. Back home, Giant is pretty good, but I don't think there's any Giants in Philly. The Aldi in West Philly is off the fucking hook. There's one in Brewery Town. That's fucking crazy. Is it Aldi's? I don't know. Yeah, Aldi's, like, really trying to hit it hard with, like, their whole vegan lineup. It's cool. You have to look for it, though. It's not going to be in your face. I don't go to Trader Joe's, just because there's not a ton of vegan stuff. Like, yeah, there is. Like, I hear you. But a lot of it's, like, shortcut food. And not to say that's not how I eat, but I don't really go there too often. And Trader Joe's and Aldi kind of have, like, that similar warehouse selection. So you can kind of get it at Aldi anyway. And that's where I go. Does your Aldi carry tofu? Sometimes. It's in the, like, they have, like, a seasonal area where it's, like, barbecue season, get your corn. Like, they have, like, a seasonal, like, a fun display in the middle. And every once in a while, they'll have Boca Burgers. And every once in a while, they'll have tofu. But it's not, like, always. You gotta look for it. I used to get the Aldi circular at my old house. And my roommate would be like, you have to go to Aldi before June 4th or else you won't be able to get red Solo cups or something like that. I don't get it anymore. I don't know how I would. I still go to West Philly to go to the Aldi. So, I'm probably like out of the circular range. I don't know. There's nothing around me besides like Little Caesars pizzas. So the population is starving. What are some of your favorite dishes to make? I don't know. Lately, I'm not sure. I'm like a rice and beans kind of chick. I'm not like really healthy. I was just talking to somebody about this, Handyman Bay. I was like, he was like, you should make videos about like nutrition, because we were talking about like living a zero waste life, which honestly just turned into a meme to me. Like, my life sucks. But he was like, you should make a video about nutrition. And I was like, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, all I eat is like old tissues and band-aids and nothing with like nutritional value. So, I have to become a better person before I can like recommend and talk about the food that I eat, because I really do like eat rice and beans or like fake boca burgers or like pasta. Like, it's not a great life. It's just like, I'm okay. And there are YouTubers doing it so much better than me that I don't want to like imagine if I just like popped off with like a contour tutorial. You'd be like, Qcknd, everyone else has it under control. Just stay in your elementary school. We got it. So I feel like if I came out and I was like, on today's vegan dish, I will be microwaving some Amy's macaroni and cheese that I put peas in. Bon appetit. Salt and pepper. Let's see. I don't know if you already mentioned it, but are the DIYs coming? They are. I've like been going through something, so I'm working on it. Do you take the train to New York when you get tattooed there? I want to get tattooed at a shop eventually, but live an hour away, and I'm nervous to get there and back. I take Megabus. I'm nervous the whole time, but nothing bad has ever happened. I've taken the train once to New York with like some of my like fab friends who were like, I'm not taking Megabus. And it was like a luxurious ride. So taking the train is luxury and not that much more expensive than the bus. Like, I don't know why I want to hurt myself in this way, but I take Megabus. You can get there and back for like $16. I think the train came to 30. I mean, I probably bought 4 coffees while I was there, so there's that extra money, I guess. It was eventually spent. You can take the train to New York and then NJ trains to the NYC. Yeah, so you have that option. I don't drive, so I can't do that. But the option is there, and it's way easier. Like, you pay a couple more bucks to literally sit in luxury and get there faster. Are you ever going to get a car? I would, you know. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, oh, here's another midlife crisis. What should we do? And I was thinking about getting a car, because then I could go to Baltimore. There's some really good tattoos I want in Baltimore. I could go to Richmond. I have amazing friends in Richmond. And I don't know. I'd love a car. If any of you guys in Philly have an old car in your garage that you're not using, that Qcknd can borrow. I have a driver's license. I've had it for 11 years. And I'm scared of loud noises. What's your go-to coffee order? Coffee or iced coffee? Nothing else. No fancy. If you're busy, I won't even ask you for soy milk. Tip $1. Any advice when artists in your area don't tattoo in a style you're looking to get? I'm in DC and it's mostly traditional, but I'm looking for neo-traditional. Oh my god, I love Monte Carlo. So if you're in DC, you're in a great hub to travel to other places. I know there's neo-traditional in Philly. You'll have to look up who. I know it exists here. I don't know first and last names. And you could stay on that train and go to New York. You get the tattoos you want to get and have an adventure. That's my opinion. Have you ever been to Chicago? Yes. I have been to Chicago twice, both times to see Joanna Newsom. And if Joanna Newsom goes on tour again, she'll probably go to Chicago because that's where her harp is from. So I think she'll always go there. So I will be in Chicago to see Joanna Newsom if she comes back. Let's take out the trash real quick. I miss driving. Yeah, I don't know. I think about it all the time, and I think like a part of my relationship that probably failed was that there wasn't an equal exchange of like me driving and then him driving and then I would go somewhere, or I don't need you to take me somewhere. But then again, I never needed a car beforehand, so who knows? Relic tattoo. Yeah, so your boy Sad Boy Kurt works at Relic Tattoo, which is in Warrington, right? It's in Warrington, right by the Regal Theater. I know that. There's an IHOP in that shopping center and a Gander Mountain. Sad Boy Kurt is really cool. We actually got a beer together like 2 weeks ago because him and I were talking about doing an episode of Tattoo Talk Tuesday together. But I was like, hey, I gotta warn you, I've been burned before, so you can't come on this channel and fake your interview. So I wanted to meet him first and feel him out, and he's so chill. So we probably will make an episode of Tattoo Talk Tuesday together if that like great idea strikes. If you guys have any ideas or something for a Tattoo Talk Tuesday between me and Kurt, when we hung out, I guess we like got to know each other, so we didn't like really throw major ideas out there. We were like, he said that some of you guys watched the video and then got tattooed by him. So I was like, that's amazing. We talked about that, and like I said earlier, you're the best audience I could ever ask for, and you represent me so well. He was like, they were so nice, the nicest girls, only nice stuff to say, got really nice tattoos. Like, you guys are the best. So, any idea? Oh, Relic is in Horsham. Okay. Well, any idea for a Sad Boy Kurt collab? Now him and I are on similar wavelengths, so we would make a video together. I just don't have any good ideas. Who knows? What are you sitting on the floor? Oh my god, I like don't want to show you. It's like a foam stump. But it like makes me tall enough. Oh my god. Ever wanted to travel outside of the US? Yeah, now that I'm like a sad ass bitch, I kind of want to like, who knows? But I love Ethan, so I don't want to leave him. And I haven't been home so often because it's sad here, so I feel like I'm neglecting him and it makes me feel worse. I met him at a convention, but I was super awkward, and now when I look at the flash sheet, I'm reminded of it. Maybe he was the awkward one. Who knows? Wouldn't worry about it. I met him at convention, and then when I met him for drinks a few weeks ago, he even apologized. He was like, sorry if I was weird. And I was like, sorry if I was weird. And he was like, sorry if I was weird. So maybe it's us. Maybe it's all of us. Did you draw the designs for your cup? No, my friend had a book all about, this book from like the 60s or 70s all about disco. And it was an instructional book on how to disco. And these were the instructions. And this was like how to hold hands with your partner, stuff like that. So these are all just clippings from this like disco book. Because we were trying to do zero waste. We were watching this one YouTube video where this girl has a mason jar of all the trash she's like accumulated in the last 4 years, and we were just like, and the next day, we got drunk at the park, and I was taking a picture of all the waste I was creating throughout the day to be more mindful of it, and then like halfway through the day, I had like been holding on to this one napkin all day because I was like, don't create any waste. And then my friend was like, you're not going to be good at it yet. So I just gave up. Are you still considering doing a meetup in Philly this summer? So, yes, I just have to make sure a man is there. I don't know how else to put it. I don't know how to dance around it. Someone was supposed to be there and now they're not going to be there, so I have to figure that out because I don't want to have it by myself. Sad face, I guess. Who knows? Do you have an estimated date for when you would want the meetup to be? I want to get some SEPTA tokens before the system kicks the bucket. So SEPTA is not eliminating tokens, so you can get tokens whenever you want. I can't tell you when the meetup is going to be, but you can get tokens tomorrow and you can still use them forever. They're considered a legal tender. So all you do is you pay the person in the booth the tokens because the machines don't accept tokens anymore, but SEPTA as a company accepts tokens. Does recycling count as waste? No. Yeah, recycling is not waste, it's recycling. So waste would be landfill. And I already compost, so I like have that. I recycle, but I do create waste. My coffee cups are recyclable, like the plastic coffee cups you get at the coffee shop. So those were recycled, but using this has been cool, and just like going through the motion of like making sure this is clean and in my tote bag has been cool. It's definitely like a little change of pace. And even like I was out with Amanda today and we stopped in Wawa and she got like a bottle of water and I was looking through and I was like, oh, I can fill this because they have like a soda at Wawa. They have like a soda like, and I filled it with water. And then the cashier said it was free. So I was like, huh, I saved $1 and I saved the rest. Would you get any more Jesse Preston tattoos? Yeah, I would go to Portland like tomorrow. I did get that job though. Yeah, I'll have to figure it out. How do you use the cup at the coffee shop? I would feel so awkward. Yes, and I never stop feeling awkward. I feel like shit when I do it. I clean this out. I go to the coffee shop, I unscrew the lid, and I give them just this, and I say, can I have an iced coffee in this cup? And then they give it to you, and you put your lid back on. Like, you hold this. Don't give them this. Give them just this. And I save 50 cents. No, I feel so awkward doing it. I do. I feel the worst doing it. I don't want to do it. But I started doing it, and now I do it. When I worked at a coffee shop, I never judged people for using recycled cups unless they handed it to me dirty. Yes, that's true, and I feel the same way. When I worked at the coffee shop, people would even like give me their cups to put latte and stuff in it. So you would like make a cappuccino and dump it into their cup. Most people who did it would like worked nearby, so you could tell they kept their cup in their cubicle, and sometimes they gave it to you with yesterday's coffee like still in the bottom, and they'd be like, "Can you rinse that for me, dear?" And I'm kind of just like, there's a lot of people in line, and all you had to do was rinse it. So that does bother me. I clean this when I'm done with it. Yeah, I mean, I I drink so much iced coffee, but I go to the coffee shop and then walk home drinking my coffee, and then by the time I'm home, usually it's done anyway. And most of my trash was my coffee cups. So it makes a lot more sense that if I'm going to the coffee shop walking home, I can just put this in my sink. And all it does is embarrass me, but that's it. I don't know. I would love to hear more about composting. So it's a pretty easy system. One of you guys bought my compost bucket for me. Thank you so much. I keep it under my sink with the lid tight. You can keep, if you have a small compost, like, think about, you know, those like Ready Whip containers, the like blue container your parents probably put leftovers in it. I have a friend where she keeps all her compost in there and then keeps it in the freezer so it's not like smelling and stuff. My compost, like, knock on wood, hasn't attracted any bugs or ants or anything yet, which makes me feel like I'm doing a great job. So I compost food waste. I actually was going to do a video on this. So I compost my food waste. There's a local garden around where I live. I was like looking up where I can put my compost, and there was one garden that accepts compost for $15. And I was like, all right, I had to pay $15 to give this garden my compost. I guess that's just what I have to do. And then I found a garden that was actually even closer to me that said they would take my compost for free as long as it was vegan. And I was like, how about that? It is vegan. So if you're doing like a banana peel, just make sure you take the sticker off. And if you have any food trash, it goes in your compost. So if you're eating rice and beans and you can't finish, but it's not enough for like Tupperware leftovers, you just scrape your rice and beans into your compost bucket, and then like once a week or whatever, I take my compost to the garden, and they do whatever the fuck they want with it. That's it. That's all I do. If you live somewhere more rural, you just put that shit in your yard. Just go put it in the tree line. I do have my own garden, but I don't know what to do with compost, so I'd rather give it to somebody who's good at it. I have like 3 bags of soil in my closet, so I'm good. I don't know what to do with compost. I know how to accumulate and then get rid of compost, but I don't know what to do afterwards. My old roommate used to be really good at composting. We had a pile in our backyard, and our neighbor also had a compost pile, but a lot went into it. Like, I know my roommate used to like forage for like leaves and shit to like fortify her compost pile, and I don't know how to do that. I'm not gonna do that. I'd rather just give it to the garden. They have a beautiful garden. They're good at it. So if I can feel like I'm a part of that somehow, with like, here's my own coffee grinds, thank you so much. That's what I do. A lot of cities do collect compost. Philadelphia does not. So if your city collects compost, just get a nice compost bucket, keep it under your sink, put your rice and beans in there, good to go. Would you ever grow your own food? So probably not in Philly. My grandparents grow tomatoes and they're the bomb, but my old roommate used to grow collard greens and kale. And I remember one time we were sitting on this porch and an older man came up to us and he was like, oh, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you could probably eat from this soil, but now the soil's really polluted and I don't recommend you eat the food from your garden. And then he like walked away. I remember I was like, fuck him. And I was like, yeah, fuck him. And then we ate all those collard greens, but he was probably right. Sorry. So I probably need a little soil test. I don't have any land. I live like in the sky right now with a very small planter box, so I couldn't even grow my own garden. But the garden by my house, I figure, like, has permits and shit, and they probably check that soil. But in West Philly, do you feed Ethan a vegan diet? no, cats aren't vegan, so Ethan eats meat. That's not his choice. He is a carnivore. I mean, he'll eat toilet paper, but like he is a carnivore, and he has to eat meat. I was having this conversation with my friend last night about the ethics behind, like, I guess there's a word for it, like the stuff that's left behind after meat and stuff is made. Like, I guess, there's a word. Does anyone know the word? The, like, food waste and the, like, parts of the animal that aren't used, and there's just nothing you can do with them. So different companies will buy them. Like, byproducts, thank you. So what is the ethics behind, like, animal byproducts that would normally go in the trash if you weren't there to consume them? And we were talking about gelatin. And I was like, yes, no cow is killed for gelatin. Cow is killed for meat. And then gelatin is a byproduct that would go in the trash if we didn't utilize it. And I told him, hey, I would eat a marshmallow tomorrow, but it's too late. So cat food came up, and I was like, well, cat food is a byproduct of the meat industry. And although that's unsavory, I would want the best for Ethan. He has to eat meat, and that meat will always be produced. Because me as a vegan, I can't do shit. I can't convince anybody to stop eating meat. That's just what it is. So I don't know. So I tell him that, there's so many conflictions of being vegan that are also personal. And sometimes it's just a late night conversation you're having with a friend where you delve into it. But byproducts are definitely one of those things. So, yes, Ethan eats meat, but the meat that Ethan eats is always going to be there because the meat industry exists. So Ethan will always have an available byproduct. Yes, I pay cash for it. Yes, I have a job where money is given to me, and then I put that money into a system in which my cat can benefit, and he is a meat eater. I don't know. But how do you feel about byproducts? I mean, are you vegetarian or are you vegan? When I was vegetarian, I didn't even eat, gelatin or carrageenan, which is in cream cheese. So, I don't know. But, curious about honey. So, my brother actually got my grandma this, like, special local, like, raw honey. And people will tell you, like, if you have allergies, to eat your local honey because it has the pollen in it, and it helps with your immunity to local pollens. And my grandmom is susceptible to allergies. And my grandmom grew up in Philadelphia, and then when she moved to the trailer park, all of a sudden she's introduced with all these allergies she never knew she had because she lived in an urban environment. So my brother, a saint among men, thought about this, and he went to a farmer's market, a little fish out of water for my brother, and he got this local honey for my grandmom. I was over there, and my grandmom said, your brother did this for me. With consideration to me and my health, you have to try some. And I said, fuck yeah. Wow, my brother's a fucking saint. I ate that honey, and it was amazing. It was thick and weird. And it was, like, cold on the spoon. It wasn't, like, dripping. So, I don't know. I did eat that honey, but I'm also, like, a very sentimental person. So, my grandmom telling me, like, hey, I know you have a runny nose, and your brother bought this for me, eat it. I don't know. I'm one of those guys. But my brother did say he, like, researched the woman who makes the honey, and it's all, like, a, open field and all this shit, and she just makes it in her backyard, and the bees come and go, and whatever the fuck. And I was like, that sounds like a good life. I don't know. Yeah, some people won't own pets, so they don't have to buy cat food. Ethan was a stray. I never wanted a pet, I had a cat in West Philly, and it emotionally and financially devastated me when it died. And I told myself, no more pets until I am, I love animals and I want them to walk all over me, but I can't afford one and I'm a little baby boy. Ethan was a stray cat who got into our house and never left. And we were building the house then, so I was like, let him live here. Who cares? This place is a mess. And then I was like, well, it's my obligation to get him neutered as a vegan so he doesn't contribute to the population of stray cats. So I went and I got him neutered, and I was like, I'm not going to keep him. I'm just going to get him neutered. And, give the city some slack on this one. And then when I brought him to the SPCA, he was afraid of the dogs, and he was so cute, and I kept him. And that's why I have Ethan. I never wanted a cat. And people are like, you should get Ethan a friend. And I'm like, alright, if a cat jumps through my fucking window, I probably have to keep it. So that's why I have a cat, and that's why I buy him cat food, because he has to eat cat food, because he's a cat. And if I set him free, maybe he'll die? I don't know what stray cats eat. I think people feed them. I guess that's what I'm doing. I'm not agreeing. A lot of ways of getting byproducts are not humane, even if they don't kill the animal. I agree. I'm not out here using animal byproducts and scooping them up for my own vegan gain. But it was a conversation I had with friends that made me think, and I think that's always valuable. Even if in my back pocket I know how I feel, and I still don't eat gelatin, and I wouldn't, there's byproducts I wouldn't use. I think people say that eggs are an animal byproduct, and that's a big one. I wouldn't eat eggs. But that's just me. I'm not the best vegan out there. I'm not the loudest vegan out there. I'm just doing my own thing. And I don't know. It's nice to have conversations with people who are also not who are doing their own thing, and they have their own personal ethics to back it up, and they're good at it and stuff. That's cool. Any advice on how to deal with non-vegan parents and friends? My best advice that has always worked for me is be the best you and just offer a ton of forgiveness. And it's hard. My parents never came around. We don't have Thanksgiving together anymore. We haven't for close to 5 or 6 years. They never came around. But I knew it was something I wanted to do, and it wasn't a phase. And I just never, in the beginning, I was the vegan police, and I had that huge front, and you have to. And I grant a lot of forgiveness for the people who message me, and they're like, did you just eat a cheesesteak? And I'm like, yeah, vegan cheesesteak. I don't have to say it anymore. I earned that. But I grant a ton of forgiveness because you have to put up a crazy front when you first become vegan, because everyone thinks that they're helping you by convincing you not to be. And I gave that forgiveness to my parents for a long time. But, and I was a little asshole about it at first, too. I was like, Mom, Oprah's vegan. She's not. But, yeah, now I just, if you want to share a meal with me, we probably can't go to Wendy's. That's what it is. And you just gotta be nice about it. And, I don't know. Get being an asshole out of the way. Go in a forum and use a fake username and get that out of your system. But, if your friends and your parents don't support you, they'll lose you. If you're serious about it, they'll lose you. And, a few years ago, I was on a date with this guy, and I was having a lot of fun. We went to Urbex, if you've ever done that, urban exploring. It's when you go to an abandoned building or something, or an abandoned place, or an abandoned bridge. We were urbexing far away from Philly, maybe 3 hours. I was having so much fun. I was like, I'm with a boy. We were listening to Washed Out in the car. Well, we were listening to Pygmy Lush, and he said it was too sad. So we were driving home, and we went to a rest stop, and it was Burger King. And I remember we pulled into the parking lot, and he looked at me. He's like, I'm sorry. I know there's nothing here you can eat, but I really have to get something to eat. I was like, okay. And I remember we went in, and I got a Dr. Pepper, and I sat there with him, and in my mind I realized it wasn't going to work. Because he was like, I get you, but I will not accommodate you. So, it didn't work. Did we make out? Yes, but it didn't work. So that's kind of like my theory on it. You know, people will reveal themselves to you in a supportive or unsupportive way, and you just figure it out. Do you stay with the boy who wouldn't drive an extra 2 miles to a Wawa where you could both get something to eat? I don't know. Do you? It's up to you. You feel it out. Vegan is my shame, so I kind of work around that. But definitely, like I knew right then and there, like, that's not wifey. Like, this won't work. What do you do to get rid of piercing bumps? If your piercing has bumps on it, it's developing an infection, and you need to work on better ways of cleaning it. They'll probably go away in like 7 days. Burger King has salads, don't they? Yeah. I don't really eat salad. I don't know. When we went there, I don't know, he didn't even, like, let me order. It was, like, it wasn't me trying to, like, search for, like, an option. It was, we got there, and he was like, I know about you, but this is about me, and not us. So I was like, I'm gonna use the bathroom and wash my hands. Favorite thing to eat at Taco Bell. So I got burned by Taco Bell a few months ago, and I emailed them to snitch, but I'm not a snitch. But I spent like $20 there, and then got in a Lyft, and then came home, and then looked in the bag, and was like, there's meat on everything. What the fuck? So now I don't eat at Taco Bell until I get an apology. And I emailed their friggin' hotline, and they never got back to me. I'm like, why'd you offer a service? Just because someone is not vegan doesn't mean you have to be rude or tell meat eaters that they are wrong. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I spent the last year and a half working in a salon where I was the only vegan, and I never passed judgment or felt like I wasn't included during birthdays or, like, pizza parties. Like I said, vegan is something really private to me. And even that boy who, like, pulled over at the rest stop and went in and ordered, like, that's his life. And, like, when I was younger, like, eating fast food was so fun. I would go to Wendy's, like, after school and feel so great, and, like, it was a very social thing. And I know that I removed myself from that social group, and, like, it is painful, you know? I just feel like in the long run, would him and I have worked out? Maybe I could have taught him a thing or two about being vegan, like, for sure. But, I don't know. You kind of just get a feeling, I guess. And when we were in the parking lot, and he was like, I know you can't eat here, but is it cool if you're just, like, quiet and watch me eat? I was like, I am a subservient mistress to you. Aye. Like, it just felt a little weird. I don't know. I mean, was I wrong? Sure, 100%. Maybe, but I don't know. I don't always know what the right thing to do is. But going to a rest stop Burger King. How did you heal your tattoos when you were a kayak instructor? I don't think I got any during the summer. Even when I got my tattoo the other night, I was joking with a friend that we can't swim in the river for the next 2 weeks. Like, you cannot go in the Schuylkill River with a new tattoo. I'm sorry. It's not worth it. So I just didn't get tattooed that whole summer. It wouldn't have been worth it. That tattoo would have gotten infected. um, let's see. Yeah, taking out the trash again. You guys are right. I just didn't want there to be like a debate on being vegan in the comments. Like, I don't know. Just who cares? Who fucking cares? I recently had to go to the doctor, and it sucks. I had to go to the free clinic, which took literally all day. I have nothing but fucking respect for the nurses and doctors at that clinic. If I ever make it big in this world, I'm sending all my money to them. What a fucking hard life. But I actually had to get a bunch of blood tests done, and I was so surprised that I was not malnourished or deficient in any aspect. I was ready for it too. I was like, oh my god, this lady's gonna know I eat like a college kid, and I'm 27, she's gonna know. And she walked in the door, and she was like, so nothing's wrong with your diet? And I was like, look again? And she was like, yeah, like I said, don't interrupt me. So I guess I'm doing alright in this world. I didn't even tell her I was vegan, and she didn't ask, so nothing in the tests would have led her to question it. I don't go to the doctor and I'm like, so I'm vegan? Because I feel like I don't want to tell them that, because if something's wrong, they might be like, well, it looks like here, this might be something, but then again, you're also vegan. Like, I don't know. I feel like if they asked, I would tell them, but I don't say anything. I just am a normal person when I go. That's a private thing. I don't say that to them. Ooh. I don't know what's going on with the track. So that's me, and talking about being vegan, I don't know. I don't want to do it. I would make more vegan videos though. I think all you guys are usually pretty cool about it. But that's me. And you know, oh my god. It's hard to see the chat. I have really bad anxiety. Any tips? So, the last couple days, I would say, for me, my biggest tip has been identifying my triggers and then like bouncing off of them, if that makes sense, or like staying like completely away from them and trying to like really keep myself away. And that's hard because what's one of my biggest triggers? This thing. And that really sucks. It really sucks because I'm like, oh, what's my leisure? Instagram? And then I'm like, who liked his photo? So I'm like trying to stay off. And then I also feel like if I'm on my phone, I might like text somebody, I might do something I don't want to do. So identifying your triggers and then staying away from them is something I've been trying to do. And it's really hard. It's really fucking hard. I'd rather do math than figure myself out. So I've been on my bike a lot more lately. I'll tell you guys, like, when I'm lonely, I like to take the train and, like, submerge myself with people. But if I'm, like, feeling really needy and, like, feeling really desperate's a better word, I get on my bike because I have to use both hands, like identifying my triggers and then like ricocheting off of them. Like when I'm desperate and I go on my phone, like, oh, something fucked up's gonna happen. So staying away from that, and just like trying to do stuff. Like sometimes it's hard because like I'll text a friend and then they're busy, and then you're like, what do I do now? I don't know. You go to Kinko's and you print out a whole zine, and you stay busy and you stay away from your triggers. You go for a walk and maybe leave your phone at home, and that's really hard because you're stuck with your thoughts. Lately, I've been like listening to a lot of music, so that way I'm like stuck in the thought. I mean, out of the thought, but off my phone. It sucks that like this time around the phone has been so toxic to me, but the last time I went through a breakup, you guys, it was not a social media world. And luckily for me, my like ex from my previous relationship is not on social media. So like no matter what we went through, I always think he did me the biggest favor by letting me have the internet. He was like, "Take the internet, all right? I'll take this. You take the internet." It's not like this time around, and I'm 1,000,000,000% more online than ever before, so it's hard because you don't know who's watching. So that's me. That is the how I've been dealing with anxiety lately is just staying away from the things that hurt the most, even if I'm so indulgent and that's what I want. I don't know. Tips for getting through both work changes and breakup for long-term relationships. I'm figuring them out as I go. I don't have any tips. Getting out of the house and getting out of the places that make me sad. I don't know. Do you ever feel pressure about the idea of turning 30? I know other people see it as a bad thing, but I'm just like, can I be 30 yet? I'm really scared of being 30. I think I like play up on like being silly and like indecisive and no solid career and like being a shampoo girl, like all the little things that like I think represent this like unfinished transitional life, which I think is celebrated in your 20s, and then a warning in your 30s. So I don't know. I feel like I haven't reached a level of success yet. Like I don't own my own house, and in Philadelphia, buying a home, you know, there's a lot of row homes and a lot of like up and coming neighborhoods. So you'll meet a lot of people in your social group who own homes already, and that's kind of just like, by the time you're 30, you should probably own your own home, or at least have a car, dickhead. So, 30, flirty, and thriving. Hey, do you like the Cure? Maybe. Yeah, I'm scared of being 30. I'm not with you there yet on that one. What did I just see? How do you like Clockwork? Okay, so I started reading Clockwork Orange a few days ago, and it's really hard to read because there's like a made up language in it, and a lot of the made up language like also like I looked it up and it said a lot of it is like a little bit like more Russian oriented or like derived. And I don't know any other language. So I'm reading Clockwork Orange and I'm having to like reread a lot of stuff because of the language that's in it. But it's funny. I have this friend And the way he talks, like he uses a lot of like slang and like phrases that I guess like he's picked up in his life or that he's like curated on his own. And I'll spend time with him and then I feel like I leave and I like pick up these phrases. And I was asking him, I was like, "Have you ever read Clockwork Orange?" And he was like, "No." And I was like, "It's funny because the more I read it, the more I understand the slang and the language, and the less I have to think about it, and the more I can just read it fluently and just like I'm picking up these words." And I was like, "You should read this because you are like this. You have all these like little mannerisms and like words and phrases and nicknames for things." And then you guys tell me that I'm kind of like that too. So I'm like, let me finish Clockwork Orange and not give up on it because I kind of like that this is being celebrated. So, having a hard time reading it because of the language thing, but it's not turning me away. But I am reading Clockwork Orange right now, if you've never read it. I watched the movie, when I was a kid. I was all about that life. I actually did a live like art thing for Tattooed Moms a few years ago, and I wore all white and boots just like Clockwork Orange, and no one talked to me. I wonder if I could pull up a photo. But I don't know. I've always like kind of been about that. Like I grew up listening to the Addicts, which is a punk band that borrows like a lot of their imagery from Clockwork Orange. Let's see if I can find a picture of me for this art show. Probably not, but let's see. No, probably not. I'll keep scrolling. But anyway, I loved the movie growing up. I loved the Addicts growing up, but I never read the book. So it's been really fun to actually read it. Um, I guess like some parts are probably triggering, but I'm not there yet. Somebody warned me that's something I wouldn't like. I read it as a teen probably because Panic at the Disco. Yeah, the imagery is like highly borrowed and celebrated in other places. Am I? Let me see if I'm anywhere near the picture of me that I'm looking for. I had red hair. That's all I can tell you. Do they allow bikes on public transit in America? So in Philly, you can go on public transportation with your bike during off-peak hours, which means like after 4, which kind of sucks. Sometimes you can sneak it on, like no doubt. I have snuck my bike into places where it wasn't supposed to be, but I have a pretty light bike, so I can hoist it over my shoulders. I'm sorry, I'm looking for this photo. But I've definitely like been taken off a train and made to wait like an hour. Who the fuck? Because of that. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to let this fizzle out. I just want to find this photo for you guys. If there's no photo, didn't even happen? Whatever. What bike do you have or recommend? I have a retrospect bike. It's a single speed. It's great for commuting. And that's all I can really tell you about it. It's never been stolen. I had a close call one time, but that was it. Now I use a like double lock system, so I don't think my bike is as vulnerable as it was before. But it's not a great bike, but I don't need a great bike. It's definitely shit for like long distance though. Like last year I rode my bike to Valley Forge and like I have like BMX handlebars and my hands like were vibrating like for the next 2 days because of it. Because It's not very shock absorbing. I don't know. Ethan, can you give me a cup of water? Thank you. I'll wait for him. So I'm just reading the chat right now. Let's see what's in the chat here. How do you make friends who get you, can connect with you as a punk, vegan, tattooed, sensitive, sad? I'm at a point in my life where it's not something I actually look for. And if people don't connect with me, I kind of realize it, I guess, and then move on. But I find myself in a lot of situations, like almost constantly, where I'm the only person representing myself. Like, not to say that I'm some, like, fucking needle in a haystack. There's a million people exactly like me, but they're on the internet. They're not at my salon or living in my neighborhood or, I don't know, in my DMs. I think if you are confident in who you are and you're not a dick, it's easy for you to get along with people. Like at my salon, you could say Angela and I on paper don't have a ton of stuff in common, but when we connected, we were thicker than thieves, you know? And Angela has taken on a lot of the emotional labor of our relationship in the last couple weeks because I've been a fucking mess. And Angela's not vegan. She doesn't give a fuck about sad music. But when you connect with somebody, your little fucking interests, like, don't really matter. And, like, Angela and I went out to, like, the bar, and we were talking about street art and, like, things I like, and, you know, she gave it her fucking best, and, like, that's cool. I would rather meet somebody who gives me a chance than who is exactly like me on paper. I don't know. But it took me years to figure that out. Before, like, vegan straight edge used to be in my profile, and if you didn't have it in yours, I was like, I'm not leaving the house for you. Now I don't give a fuck. Now I'm like, I don't know. I hope you like my cat. Do you like beer? If you don't like beer, that's cool too. I won't talk about it. I'm on YouTube. Does that matter to you? Yes or no? Okay, let's keep going. So, I don't know. I went to college thinking I would find people like me, and I never did. And sometimes that's okay. You just enjoy the people who are around you. It's true. And I feel like, how do I say this? I feel like people have to let me in order to, like, people to give me a chance. And right away, sometimes I'll meet people who don't want to. And then I'll meet people who are willing to. And even that speaks and says so much. So, you know, I'm a particular person, and I have particular things and, like, ethics that I feel strongly about and stand by, and that's hard. And I don't know. Sometimes you just have to meet someone who is, like, happy to learn about you and who doesn't give a fuck that you don't eat meat, and they'll accommodate you. Like, places Angela and I will eat, like, we went to Tattooed Mom's, which was probably, like, I don't know if that's her cup of tea, but she gave it a fucking chance, and that's cool. Would you say that your veganism, less waste, thrifting, and supporting good companies is conscious living for you? No. I mean, I could definitely do so much more, and none of this feels forced. So, I think if I really, really tried, I could do so much more. But this is just exactly how I live my life. And I never try to say that I'm perfect, and I never try to say that, like, I'm, like, kinging this fucking lifestyle, because I'm really, really not. I just think that it's nice to be conscious, but, like, I don't know. Like, shouldn't we all recycle? And that's what feels right. And, like, being conscious of my consumerism is cool, but it's not, like, something that I'm, like, up late at night, like, doing research on. It's just, like, um, I became vegan, and that happened to be good for the planet, and that was cool. But, I don't know. My ethics just feel like something that's, like, in my back pocket, and not really something that personally describes me, like, 100%. Like, my profile online wouldn't be like, Amanda, vegan, recycle, rides a bike, saves the earth. Like, those are kind of just things that, just like, things I just do. I don't know. Are you wearing any makeup? Yeah, I have my eyebrows drawn in, but that's it. You can kind of see how oily my fucking face is. What up? Ooh, I wanted to read that. Hold on. I would love to move to Philly since I'm friends with a bunch of people there, but crime there puts me off a lot. How do you deal with any crime near you, if any? I don't know. Like, the neighborhood I live in now is pretty close to the neighborhood I grew up in and was, like, born into. And a lot of the reasons, like, my grandparents, like, pulled together all the money they ever had to move us out into the suburbs, was so, like, my brother could go to a good school, and because there was crime. And, like, neighborhoods can be changing and all that shit, but when you move to a city, you kind of move to a city with an understanding that you live in the environment no matter what it's like. And gentrification is a conversation that's on the tip of a lot of people's tongues. Like I said a few minutes ago, like, a lot of people my age are buying homes because in Philadelphia you can kind of afford to buy a home, even if you're a barista. Like, you can just kind of afford it. But if you can afford that home, it's because developers find that area undesirable, and that's why you can afford it. So if you wanted to move to Philly, you could afford to, but I don't know. I don't think that Philly is necessarily, like, a crazy dangerous city. I mean, I'm on guard. Like I said earlier, I was followed home the other night, but I also know, like, what time of day I shouldn't bother to be outside, and I also know, like, what stops on the subway I shouldn't really bother getting off at, and shit like that. And if you play coy, and if you play too PC, like, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of fuck yourself over. So if you're just cautious and, like, on guard all the time, then it's like a false sense of security, of course. Like, even me, like, I didn't mean to speak out of terms to the woman I shampooed the other night who was like, you know better than to be there at night. You know better. But I told her, I was like, when does the fear end? And she was like, never. And that's kind of what it is. And 3 or 4 years ago, we were robbed at gunpoint, and it's never happened again. And I was with my friend, and I feel like, you know, he's tall and kind of seasoned to, like, an urban experience. Like, and even then, when it happened to us, we were both like, what the fuck? And, you know, he ran our wallets, and it was a few years ago. I didn't have any fucking money. And even to this day, my friend kind of jokes, like, your empty ass purse. I'm was like, and, you know, after we proved that we were broke, he let us go. But after that, I was afraid that everybody had a gun. For months, I was afraid that everybody had a gun. And I didn't want to tell people that I got held up at gunpoint because I feel like, I don't know, it depreciates the progress that I feel like my neighborhood is going through. And I feel like you want to tell people that gun violence is low, and you want to tell people that Philadelphia is a safe place, and then you get robbed, and you're like, damn it, I thought we were doing good, Philly. So it was kind of fucked up. He made us both touch the gun. It was like not a great situation, and not something like I'm happy to talk about on YouTube or anybody, because I put so much faith into Philadelphia. I brand myself as from Philadelphia. It says Philadelphia in my Instagram profile. This is where I live and what I represent. But, I mean, every time I try to have a conversation about gun violence, it gets shut down by someone who believes in guns. But do guns exist in urban environments? Yes. It's amazingly easy to get a gun in Philadelphia. The, like, YouTube, like, viral video of, like, the person who buys the assault rifle in, like, I don't know, like, 45 seconds or some shit, that was in Philly. It's hard. So, yeah, I don't know. I always think about people who have guns. And after we got held at gunpoint, I think it was on, like, 8th and Washington, if you're ever in Philadelphia, which is, like, an okay, like, a place where people are. Like, it's right by the Italian market. If you've ever seen Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the episode where, like, Charlie eats a pear for the first time, that's the Italian market. That's where we got held up. And then from there, it was, like, my friend's last night in Philly, and I was like, happy Philly. And I got on the subway to go home, and I was so scared that everybody had a gun. Because the man who approached us didn't look like he had a gun, you know? He kind of, like, he waved to us, and he was like, excuse me. And then when he crossed the street, we were like, yeah? And he was like, you know, how fucking prepared can you be for that shit? But that happened a couple years ago, and knock on particle board, it hasn't happened to me again. Like I said, being followed the other night was the closest run-in I've had to an incident in a while. But hey, I can't tell people Philly is safe or not safe. When we lived in the suburbs, like, shit would happen too, you know? You just are more, the feeling of safety exists more out there. And yeah, like, there are guns here. I don't know. It's a conversation that no one wants to have. And in my social circle, there are people who live by themselves and own guns and feel really good about it. And then there are people who experience gun violence and then don't want to be a part of it. But who knows? It's a conversation I generally avoid always. You can go through my Instagram and see people who are like, do you recommend Philly? And I'm like, huh. I do. But I don't know. When I was in high school, everybody went to Temple, which is the college in Philadelphia. And you would just hear stories because Temple was built in, like, a neighborhood that wasn't ready for Temple. And then you hear a ton of stories of, like, people who leave campus and something bad happens. And you're kind of just like, what do you do? Do you stay on campus? Or do you leave campus? And I don't know. Are there worse cities? Like, where do you guys live? I don't really know. I live in Philly every single day and feel perfectly fine. And like I said, I know where I don't belong and I have a pretty good sense of intuition. Not to say that that'll always do you well, because I did go out late the other night and that lady yelled at me. So I don't know. Did it just get brighter in here? Sorry, I'm reading the chat. How did you feel in Texas? When I lived in Texas, I felt really alone. I felt like I never ran into another person, almost. Um, I was never afraid there, though, ever. I was, I felt so alone that I never thought I would run into another person. I thought that I would be bit by a scorpion, but I wasn't afraid of gun violence when I lived in Texas. I wasn't afraid of anything. I was afraid of dying alone in my house from being so fucking lonely. Um, but yeah, I lived in Houston and I was not afraid. So I'm looking at the group chat now. I'm from Milwaukee, where there is a ton of gun violence and sex trafficking. Oh my god. What do you think of tiny houses and RV living as a form of alternative living? Do you still think about living in the trailer park? Um, yeah. I mean, a couple years ago, I looked at trailers in my grandma's trailer park and wasn't ready to afford them. I think it would be a really nice place to settle down. I think it's a good place to raise kids. I think, I met my best friend in my trailer park and we've been friends ever since. I loved it there. I think, living in my really small apartment has been a nice exercise in living within necessity. Um, I was shampooing someone the other day because I told her I had a small apartment. She was like, "Oh, do you ever see Tiny House documentary?" And I'm like, I think I could live in a tiny house that has land around it. So I had the option to go and have my dinner sitting outside or whatever. But me living in small apartment, like I go out a lot and then the city's like a playground to me. Like I can go to the park or the coffee shop or return some bathing suits at Forever 21. Like I have a ton of options. If I lived in a tiny house in a rural area, I would go fucking crazy. Like, no doubt. There's no internet strong enough to make me not go crazy in my tiny house off the cliff with land and one dog or something. And if I lived in a tiny house in Philadelphia, Philadelphia is really seasonal. So for 6 months out of the year, you can't really leave your house. It's too fucking cold. So, now is my prime to go out whenever I want and come home and catch up on my shows on a nice night in. But even if I lived in a tiny home in Philadelphia, I'd probably go nuts. So I don't know. I have a ton of stuff. I have a ton of art supplies and shit. If I didn't have so much junk and wasn't sick, maybe. Any advice for getting winter depression? No. I don't. Every winter, I gain weight and watch a ton of shows, like binge watch a ton of shows, I feel. And probably just like plan ahead and make promises to myself, and it's really dark all the time. It's definitely like a time when like it's good to like boo up and like have someone to be with, like in a relationship for sure. Uh, I feel like the last couple winters I've been really fucking sad, but I had a boyfriend. Who knows what's gonna happen this year? I'm just gonna have footy pajamas and eat a whole box of Ritz crackers. I don't know. Have you ever shampooed someone with a scalp condition? I have seborrheic dermatitis, and I'm nervous about getting hair cut. I just normally cut it myself. Sorry. Yes, I've shampooed people with tons of conditions, and I never feel any type of way about it. I'm never like, ewy. I would shampoo anybody. It was, I put in my 2 weeks notice, so I was a little like, feeling a little senioritis my last couple weeks, and I was shampooing this woman with alopecia, and she's so polite and feels like she's such a burden on you. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. And I usually can like absorb how people feel and kind of like bring it back to them and just be like, oh, are you okay? No burden. So her and I like have this little dance together. So I was shampooing her, kind of like room temperature, and she was like a little closing the eyes a little bit, kind of squinting, and I was like, oh, does this temperature work for you? Is this okay? Are you all right? And she was like, oh, I'm sorry, dear, like, sometimes warm water can really make my scalp tingle. And she was like, and with the hot weather, I'm sorry. And I was like, do you want me to change the temperature? And she's like, no, you don't have to, dear. You know, like, please do not burden me, kind of thing. And her alopecia was just like right in the front, so she didn't grow hair here. And then she had the hair the rest and would like have bangs, like a specialized haircut. So when she said that, like the hot water is like making my head tingle, like so much, like she didn't want to talk about her alopecia. And you know, I'm not going to be like, what's up? So I'm still shampooing her, and I kind of like towel dry her a little bit, and I was like, is that okay? You said your head was sensitive, like, I'm sorry. And she's like, you know, the alopecia is just a little sensitive with the heat. And I looked at her and I was like, you can talk to me about it. It's okay. You're allowed to talk about having alopecia. It's okay. And I felt like I was out of place saying that, and that my agenda shouldn't be present at my job where I'm like, body positivity, bitch. But she looked at me and she's like, you're too kind, and I should talk about it. All the conditions that come into the salon, you never have to feel weird about it at all. My hands have been in every sort of head, and really, all I feel is a connection with the client. And I felt a connection with that woman as a woman. And I felt a connection with her as someone who works with hair. Because she came there for a special haircut. And I was like, I'm helping you right now. And you're not talking about it, but we're both looking at it. Why not talk to me about it versus your neighbor who might not understand? I do. Sometimes though, like, I'll shampoo, like, men with the bald here and the hair around, and they're bald all day, every day, so they get sunburned, like, every day, and it's always, like, flaking. And you want to be like, do you ever wear a hat because your bald head is in the sun every single day and I'm like worried about you? But you can't say anything. I don't know. You can't say. You can't be like, sir, your head is not impervious to skin cancers. Please, help me. So yeah, I wouldn't feel guilty if you have a scalp condition, unless your shampoo person is an asshole. You never know when you're gonna run into an asshole. Would you ever consider making a Discord for your followers, subscribers, seeing us all interact so well? It'd be cool for us to interact outside the streams. Yeah, I would take any recommendations on that. I'm not totally sure how to do it. You should do YouNow. So YouNow, I think, is the other like live streaming service. I don't know why people prefer it. Let me know why you would prefer it, because I already have like a username and stuff on YouTube. I don't know if it's better. Why did you decide to not be straight edge anymore? Wait, would you ever do a meetup in New York City? No. I would do one in Philly on my home turf, just because I would feel safer here. And New York is not a far drive if you want to come. But I would have to go to New York and be out of place. So I just feel like if you wanted to come from New York to here, it would be okay. Like, I asked Mark Cross why he would never do a guest spot in Philly, and he said my Philly clients don't have a problem coming to New York. So, I don't know. What was the other question I started to answer, which was good? Why did you decide to not be straight edge anymore? So, I became straight edge at a time in my life where, like, I was going through a major breakup. I was moving back in with my parents. Like, I felt like I was really lacking, like, an identity. So, attaching straight edge to my identity, I felt like gave me, like, a crutch almost in, like, social settings, because even now, if I find out someone's straight edge, I'm kind of just like, are you an ally to me? And I felt like, since I was already vegan and, like, not your party girl, I was like, yeah, vegan straight edge. And when I moved to Philly, I always felt like vegan straight edge protected me, and people who chose to reach out to me knew that, like, they were reaching out to a vegan straight edge person. So it's kind of like, are you sure you want to hang out with me? Because we're not going to do anything. So straight edge is no drugs, no alcohol. There's some ties to, like, promiscuity with being straight edge. Like, those ties are kind of like vegans eating honey, though. Like, not every straight edge person is or isn't promiscuous. So, being straight edge was, like, something I held in my identity. And when I was, like, in vegan straight edge world on Tumblr, like, I was meeting a ton of friends. A lot of my friends who are still friends with me now, Alex, you know, I met her in a vegan straight edge realm, and now both of us are not straight edge, but we are still friends. It was a big community online. But then in Philly, I just felt like that sense of community didn't exist as much as it did online. And I was like, if I, like, met a vegan straight edge boy who only wanted to meet me because I was vegan straight edge, like, didn't give a fuck about who I was. He was like, oh, vegan straight edge, me too. Let's hang out. Here's a picture of my dick. I'd be like, oh, yikes. So, not to say, like, vegan straight edge boys are like that, but I found myself, like, drifting out of that social scene and just like going into a different one kind of over the course of like a year. I was straight edge for a few years, but I really grew out of the title and I grew out of the like social world that comes with it. And like I don't know. It just was a title that came out so harsh. And it was like it was harsh to be like, I'm vegan straight edge. Um so around beauty school I stopped calling myself straight edge and I joked that I was like straight edge till beauty school. Um But a lot of being straight edge was also me being afraid to like be intoxicated or not be my authentic self. And I thought that sobriety was that ticket and people had to meet me sober and like me for who I was without gimmicks, without beer, without going to the bar, without smoking cigs. Um and I guess it was a few years ago. I was like at a barbecue. Well, I'll be honest, we were all swimming in a lake. And like I had a beer and it felt like a little like chill, just like everybody's chilling, having a beer. And I think all the fears of like drinking when I was younger or drinking by myself, like somebody's gonna put something in your drink, like don't drink at any campus parties, like don't, keep your eye out. Like a lot of that stemmed on like fear and being afraid of where I was and being afraid of like being fucking roofied or something, like something bad happening was a big fear of mine. Um, but I don't really feel that way anymore. Like I think the close friends that I have that I'll like, share a six pack with, I think it's all good vibes. But a lot of that came with maturity. Like I didn't start drinking until I was like 25. And being straight edge before then felt comfortable. So I don't know. Um, I like. I mean, I don't think I would fuck with like drugs and stuff. I think that is not an authentic. Like, I think I would be really afraid, of that. So I don't know. But I guess I am straight edge accidentally because I have severe anxiety and I can't even drink alcohol or coffee. I think, and the next person says, I think environment has a lot to do with it too. Yeah. Um, I am like an anxious person, and I think like smoking weed like makes that a million times worse. So I'm definitely with you there. Um, I think like a nice beer to like cool off is cool, or like, I mean, I've kind of been participating in a lot of self-destructive behaviors lately, but like, I don't know. I don't like mind. I guess that's fucked up. I don't know. And yeah, I think environment has to do a lot with it too. Like, I would drink some beers with like my friend on the block, but if I was meeting someone for the first time, I'm not sure. Like, yeah, shared a cold one with your boy, Sad Boy Kurt, but I don't know. I'm definitely like I was never like a party girl, so being straight edge like came pretty quick. And yeah, like I know a lot of straight edge people who became straight edge. Like I had this one roommate, he became straight edge because his brother overdosed, and he wore straight edge as like a memorial and like a cautionary tale of his brother. And I think that is really cool. And like I said, I keep straight edge people in my company. I feel comfortable around them, and I also feel like it's something I understood and existed in comfortably when I was in it, but I did transition out of it. Um, like I didn't leave straight edge with like middle fingers up, you know. Um, and yeah, XVX stands for vegan straight edge. Um, how How do you feel about long distance relationships? So, I've been in like one quasi successful long distance relationship, and when I was in it, like, I definitely needed it. It was really nice to meet someone online and pursue them and talk to them every day on text. I mean, when I was in my long distance relationship, I didn't have an iPhone. It it was a long time ago when like we would email pictures of each other back and forth, or be like, did you see the thing I posted on Tumblr? The word heart eyes was a phrase. It was before emojis. When I existed in my long distance relationship, though, I liked it. Um, it felt really good. There was a lot of heart. I would look forward to seeing him like more than anything. Um, but you know, it failed, and a lot of that had to do with like the expectation of when we would finally see each other, things would go like 0 to 60. And I'm kind of just like, I have to grow into a relationship, and even if we are like confessing little nothings to each other via text and sending like cutie photos and stuff, we would meet up. I think like we would meet up in New York sometimes. That was like kind of halfway for us. And I remember he would be like, "Do you want to take a shower?" And I was like, "No, what? No, you have to learn to love these." I don't know. So, I've been in one, and I loved it when I was in it, but it failed. And like, I'll talk to people, and it's hard. Like, I would talk to somebody I met online, but if I can't guarantee that we would see each other, like, I'm not sure. But I hate to say that, like, I'm a needy person. That makes me sound disgusting. Like, don't tell any cute boys I said that. But, I definitely, like, rely on a partner to, like, tell them my heart. Because I think that that's something you grant your partner. And I feel like I would want to give, and like I have to talk about that stuff. And there's a lot of stuff I have to talk about. And sometimes I have to be talked out of stuff. Talk me off the ledge, my friend. But I'm not sure if I'm at a point in my life where I could do long distance. But I don't know. I also have a no boys allowed rule in the apartment. I'm kidding. Um, I'm not sure. One boy in the apartment, one big man. There's no room for anybody else. Oh, did you knock this over? I don't know if I would be in a long distance relationship. um, I'm needy as fuck, and I admitted that to my boyfriend before we became serious because I didn't want to have to pretend that I wasn't. Yeah, like, telling someone that I'm needy sounds so desperate, but I should also tell people that I'm desperate, and that sometimes, like, I can get really sad, and it comes out of nowhere. And in my previous relationship, you know, I didn't tell him for a long time that I was sick. And it wasn't fair to put that all on him, but he understood and accepted it. And then after that, you know, I could tell him, like, today I'm sad and it hurts me. And he could be there and, like, hold on to me and stuff. And if, I don't know, I don't want to wait. I don't know. In my long distance relationship, if he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be in New York on the 17th," if today is June 25th, I would just wait until then, every day, forever, and it would hurt. Um, Sorry, I'm like reading the chat. Would you ever consider yourself completely straight? I've never had a conversation about my sexuality on YouTube. Because it's not something that is something that like identifies me, and I never want to say that because I know that there are people where it's a really important part of their identity and they want to talk about it, and I like don't want to talk about it, and I don't want to talk about my sexuality, and I don't think that I don't know. It's not something I think about ever. So I've never talked about it. Have you ever been tattooed by Akira? No, I'm just obsessed with him. Why are you on the floor? Because I slept on my couch last night, so my bed is like all fucked up. But my air conditioner's in my living room, so last night it was really hot, so I just slept on my couch. I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm doing. Would you consider more piercings throughout your life? So I actually, in my P.O. box, somebody sent me this handmade notebook that they made, like, bound it themselves, like, handmade. And, in it, she said that she was a body piercer in New Jersey, and that I should come and get pierced by her. And so I was like, that's a really nice offer, and I want to take her up on it because she's really nice and kind and made me this book. At the same time, though, I wasn't really interested in getting any new piercings. Maybe my nose. But my nose has been pierced like 4 or 5 different times. 5 times. So I think it's had its run. I'm not sure. I kind of like living this like no piercing life and wearing long sleeves and pants and no one knowing that I'm a freak. But that's just some weird shit I'm going through. Would I get my eyebrow pierced? Probably not. Just because I fill them in, I don't want any trouble. Have you seen a hoe? Have you ever thought about stretching your ears? My ears were stretched for like the better part of the last decade, and then I had them reconstructed. I've thought about having them re-pierced, but I had my ears pierced at the hospital when I was born, so it's kind of been cool to like not have any like ear piercing. My septum is still like wide open though, so I could put a septum ring in my nose like any fucking minute of my life, and it'll never go away. So that's always an option for me. I don't know, which feels okay. Would you ever get neck, finger, face tattoos or anywhere visible like that? I have my hands tattooed on the palms of my hands. Sometimes I think about getting more tattoos on my hands like that. That was like a little bit of a plunge for me. I feel like having these big old holes in my ears, like, I guess, make a statement. But I haven't thought about getting my neck tattooed. I mean, I've been trying to like finish my arms and legs and my back, and I think like maybe by the time you get to your neck, it's because like you had some inspiration or you're like ready for it, and I'm just not ready for it. Getting my freckles tattooed was kind of like a sensationalized face tattoo, which like, you know, was cool. Like, I do this character, Mandy, for my like tattoo of the year recap, and she has face tattoos. And I remember being dressed up as Mandy, I like felt really confident. And then later I was like, John, I need a face tattoo. And he was like, wipe off your face. Shut up. Um, so when I was wearing a fake face tattoo, I felt really comfortable. um, but I don't know. Would you get your chest tattooed? No. I don't think so. I don't think there's anything I want like that looks like that. Maybe like an offset, like over here. I almost got the tender tattoo up here, and just didn't. I don't know. I'm at a point where I can like see all my tattoos, like if I just look, except for my back. Um, do you think the people in your life, friends or boyfriends, influence your tattoo placements? Um, so I'm not sure. I don't think so. I don't think so. Um, no. What's your current hair color? I can't see it really well. It's like a silver gray. Um, it has a really bad green cast to it. I used that lime crime hair dye, and I'm feeling a ton of regret because it stained the cuticle of my hair. I don't know if you guys remember, but I had white hair before I did it, and hashtag regret. Um, sorry, I'm like trying to read the chat. What inspired the tender tattoo? I kind of talked about it in depth, I guess, earlier in the group chat. I mean, the live stream. But this shit's 3 hours long. Um, so I kind of got the tender tattoo. Uh, I guess to like paraphrase as just like a way to guide myself into loving my personal body again, and not like a girlfriend's body or like my boyfriend's partner's body. Um, now that it's just me and I present my body as like me again, the tender tattoo was kind of just like um, guidance into that. So I don't know. Who knows? Uh, Quicken, I'm obsessed with your conch holes. I want mine too, big enough that I don't need jewelry in them. How big would I have to stretch them? Um, so I actually had them punched at the size with a dermal punch. I think not a piercer, but I think a 6 gauge needle is the biggest hollow needle that you can get a piercing in. And I wanted to put plugs in my piercings, so I had them punched at a 2. I never had the intention to wear them without jewelry. I figured I would be like this, like punk ass grandma, and then just like decided not to wear them anymore. So they are punched at a 2, but I bet they probably closed a little bit to put jewelry in at a 4. I wore jewelry though probably for 2, maybe 3 years, and then they healed at this size. I think if you got them punched and wanted them open, you would have to get stitches. I let them heal with jewelry inside. Um, so the tender tattoo, it hurt, but they all hurt. It hurt just like every other one hurts. I didn't use numbing or anything. I just showed up. I didn't even know I was getting that tattoo that day. Um, see. How do you deal with bad tippers at the salon? I'm a waitress, and it's super frustrating when regulars give shitty tips. I deal by talking shit and just it kind of sucks. Like, if you work at the salon long enough, you recognize people, and then you remember that they're shitty tippers, and then you just don't provide them a service. It's kind of like, by the time I was the last shampoo girl, I also had seniority as the person who had been working there the longest, and I could just see clients come in who I knew, like, didn't tip or tipped you, like, condescending or, like, mostly didn't tip. And I would kind of just, like, be unavailable when it was their turn to get a shampoo. It's pretty shitty. It's fucked up. It's not something that I'm just, like, saying out here. But, yeah, I don't know. Or, like, if I knew someone was a shitty tipper, I, like, didn't give them my soul. But that's just me. I'm just thinking of one lady in particular who never tipped the shampoo girls, but she always, like, would talk to you and want to take something from you as well. Like, where'd you get that shirt? Tell me about your shoes. Oh, this Sunday. Well, I was with my son and blah, 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 blah. And you're shampooing her and you're like, hey, I know you don't value me as a person, so this is confusing. You're giving me weird signals. So I don't know. It's fucked up. I don't know what to tell you. That's the truth. The people who didn't tip me and would still always come back, I would feel really weird. And I remembered them. Yeah, tipping is a strange system. If you don't live in, I think, America and Canada tip, it's weird. I don't know. Someone started it, and then all of us abide by it blindly. And then people who live in a tipping world, hairdresser, tattoo, waitress, barista, all of us are kind of in this system where we all tip each other. So, like, if you're a hairstylist and you go to the coffee shop, you're probably going to give a good tip. And if you're a barista and you go to get your hair done, you're probably going to give a good tip. Like, we are a class of people, and we all supplement each other. And once you become a part of it, you, like, never forget it. So I think all of us tip each other the best. I think tattoo artists probably tip their hairstylist the best. You know, like gas pump attendee, stuff like that. Do you usually tip piercers like you do tattoo artists? I do. When I was getting piercings, I would tip my piercer as well. But I don't know. Do you like whip shading for tattoos? I think most of the shading in, like, all of my tattoos is whip shading, because I think it's, like, an aspect of traditional tattooing. Did you have a hard time in beauty school like that? How did you get through it? I'm sensitive and introverted, and beauty school is tearing me up lately. I didn't get through it, like, with ease. I would say I went through beauty school, like, kicking and screaming. I had a lot of emotional support. My partner at the time was there for me a lot, and then a lot of the girls in my class, we created, like, a really strong system with each other. That wasn't until the end, like, believe me. The first year, I felt like I was ugly and weird, and the things that I praised and enjoyed about myself that I felt were normalized in my protected group were fucking circus acts at school, like, no doubt. You just have to get through it. That sounds so shitty, but I was sad and I didn't try to hide it. Like, there were plenty of times where I would take a client and feel like I was about to have a panic attack and leave. Maybe take a really long time in the bathroom, not give a fuck, and then come back and just keep performing. Take time for yourself. Put a spotlight on yourself and watch yourself get through beauty school. And don't try to be invisible to your soul. Like, keep yourself in your forefront of your mind and be your own cheerleader. Because when I was in beauty school, I really beat myself up, and I felt like I was a low life, and I like wanted to ignore myself while I was in beauty school and just like get through it with my head down and like pretend I wasn't there. And the second I like was proud of it, not even proud, but the second I was like, yo, you're gonna fucking go to beauty school today, let's do it, let's get this out of the way, let's get it done. Like, even when it was private, it kind of helped. Like, I don't love myself, but that shit helped. Should I get my first tattoo at 18, or is that too young? I mean, if you want it, YOLO. If you think you should get one, but you're not sure, don't get it. Oh my god, I've been talking for a really long time. Who am I? So, I think I'll take like one more question and then kind of end this. I have cinnamon rolls in my fridge, so you know what that means. So, throw something my way in the group chat. Why did you block me on Instagram? Something fucked up probably happened. Yeah, they're vegan cinnamon rolls. They come in this thing. You'll find them. They're out there. They're out there if you look. Thanks. Thanks, guys. So this live stream, usually I rewatch them before I post them. Once this is done processing, I guess I want it to be out there because there's some stuff I addressed in the first hour that I don't want to talk about ever again. And there will be no we had to break up videos because I didn't even really want to say all this shit. My friend kind of pushed me into it, and I think, you guys have been seeing me vulnerable and acting kind of crazy and wondering where my content is. So I just wanted to come out here and make a video where I address a ton of things. And where I'm going from here. This is a really transitional part in my life, and I can't thank you guys enough for all the support you've been giving me. Even the blind support where you're like, I know something's wrong, I don't know what, I love you. It goes so fucking far. In this life, I hope to show you guys that I'm an authentic person and I don't know right from wrong. And I was so scared to show you guys that my relationship failed. And I was so scared to show you guys that my living situation failed. And I was so scared to show you that my apprenticeship failed. But at the same time, I know how representation creates value. And maybe it took my friend drinking a beer with me on the step to remind me that. But I just wanted to show you guys that there are so many lives that we live, and failure happens, and it's prominent, and it can destroy you, or it can build you up and help you create things. And I just want you guys to know that, I don't know, this isn't a Hollywood-ass production. This is me and my cat, and I'm figuring things out, and I don't know right from wrong. And this could all blow up in my face, but I'm trying to live an authentic life and figure out the rules as I go. And I'm so happy that you guys join me and trust me and believe in me, because I don't, I don't wake up every day and think I'm doing right. The other day, all I wanted was him back. But life goes on, and I know that's a fucking cliche, and I know I want to ride my bike to the plateau right now, but I open myself up to you guys. That might be wrong too, you know? But here it is. This is the live stream. This is the info. It exists here. I love you guys. I will work towards making a public zine when I feel like that's right. And if you made an appointment with me as a hairstylist, I will be posting very specific models that I need now that I am in a regimented and oriented through scheduling apprenticeship. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your time, especially those of you who have been with us for over 4 hours. I love you. Thank you so much.